Oh man, Chickenman. Wow. This is so slow. We're so slow and quiet right now. How's everybody doing today? Nerds and nerdettes, hope you're all having a lovely day. Bagels, thank you so much for the 49-month resubscription. And happy holidays to you as well. We have a very exciting KSL this week, as we have the return of the big boy. And it doesn't get much more exciting than that. This is going to be Parting's first official competitive match since before he left for military, which was 2 years ago. 2 years and a month. I just checked. His last one on a Legulac was from November, I think it was the 17th. And actually, it wasn't his last one, but like a few before that. One of his very last matches was against Up a Tree. Fun fact. All right, just making sure everybody's in. We have everybody here and checked in. We don't have Hero this week. No Hero signed up. He's taking a break, giving everybody else a chance to get a KSL victory. See how that goes. But we have actually a really sick lineup. It's funny, when I first looked at this like an hour ago, I was really worried we weren't going to have a good lineup today, but a bunch of people showed up, Parting, kicking us off, and then everybody checking in is always really nice. So just making sure we don't have any last minute signups, and then we'll get going. Wide peepo glad indeed. Howard the Ninth, good to see you in here. Senju, Tater Tutor, Seal Pup. Look at all these lovely people. Atomos. Look at those boom emotes. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff in chat. Y'all looking great out there. Oh, man, this is the last KSL of the year. We are just days away from the new year. I don't know if anybody out there is going to be celebrating. I am planning on going to a New Year's Eve party, which unfortunately means that, plus having to work on New Year's Day, I won't be casting EPT this week. But, you know, it'll be fun. Bruno, happy holidays to you as well. Hope you're doing well. All right, I want to see. Yeah, I think we're pretty good. I think I'm going to let us go here. Process the check-ins. Dave Test is saying everyone wants to cast Parting. Everyone wants to cast Parting. I really want to cast Parting. I might actually grab a replay and cast it afterwards because I want to cast Parting so badly, but I also want to cover more ground. So I will cast something different for the first round. Oh my god, we got somebody in just at the very last second. Let me make sure. Okay. I genuinely don't know how they got in there. All right, well, Demosthenes coming in clutch at the very end to give Cure an opponent in the first round. Just get a replay and cast it afterwards. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, I want to cast Parting. I love that Parting's playing, but I'm so confident that probably like Steadfast or Dave Testa or somebody is gonna cover him. So it seems silly to also do that. Or the Ducklings. We also have the Cranky Ducklings in here. They might all cast Parting because it might just be worth it. Dollar Admiral, good evening to you, my friend. All right, so who do we want to cast? I'm kind of thinking DRG Nice or Firefly Cyan. I don't know if I want to do PvP, though, so I think DRG Nice might be the way to go. Who chooses? Like, who chooses who's casting what? Personally, for me, because I want to make sure to get as many replays as possible, I defer to others for the KSL, and I will try to get what other people aren't grabbing. Some people are kind of predictable, so like Steadfast is the biggest streamer of us, so I think we usually just let him have what he wants. It's usually how it goes. If you have the most viewers, you get to pick. So Dave gets to pick on this one. If like Wardy or Roddy's around when we're casting something, we defer to them. And then like the Cranky Ducklings often will go for specific players. Like if Mio Micah is playing, or there's like a handful of others that I feel like Light usually gravitates towards. A lot of times what I do is, I don't know. There's varying strategies. The thing about a bracket like this is the round of 8 is going to be really good no matter what. So I'll a lot of times look for like an interesting first match. In this case, DRG Nice is looking good to me. Classic Foxer, though. I actually didn't notice that one. Classic versus Foxer is fun. Foxer is really cool. I hung out with Foxer at in Atlanta. He's a chill dude. Prioritize YouTube. Kind of. I don't know. In the case of KSL, I prioritize what will get me the widest variety of replays so that it's easier to send replay packs out. Because they're all really going to be good. There's not going to be any like really bad matches. The first ones might be a little bit lopsided, except for a couple of them. Parting versus Coffee should be actually very good. Coffee is a very good player. Parting like just coming back, I think that'll be very competitive. How is KSL funded? KSL is funded purely through the community via the Patreon. We do also have some like small coupon codes for the Matcherino every week and things like that, and one-time donations can go into there. But the Patreon is the main funding. And actually, unfortunately, our Patreon has taken quite a big hit in the last couple of months. And next year, we're going to have to go down to every other week KSLs. It's a bit unfortunate. But, you know, it's got to happen. Maybe if we get Stormgate in there, we can alternate every other week. So Nice, I think, isn't here right now. So we might be... Well, we might just wait a moment. Honestly. He still has like 7 or 8 minutes before I worry about it. What was the cause of the decline? There's a number of factors. We had a couple of bigger donators, bigger people in the Patreon that, for a couple different reasons, had to drop out or drop to a much lower tier. But I think just in general, it's been like a very slow decline for the last 6 months or so. It just happens. We'll keep the KSL going as long as we can. If we have to become a once monthly tournament, you know, we'll do that. How much would you need to just keep it going as is? Quite a bit per month. I think right now we're about, I have to do the math. It's like 600 to 700 a month under the goal that would be able to do every single week. If we go to every other week, which we almost certainly will next year, we'll probably raise the prize pool to $500 each week, just because that's like where we're at right now. We can do that. But we could get a sponsor. I wish that I was any good at getting sponsors. I don't even know who I would reach out to about that. That is one of those things that, like, I am so bad at gathering money for things. It's my biggest weakness as somebody who wants to organize tournaments. Like, I feel like I can deal with all the other stuff, but when it comes to getting sponsors, whatever that looks like, I'm so bad at it. The only reason we had KSL funding at the beginning is because of Dave Testa. I'll tell you guys right now, nobody was willing to spend money on my tournament, but Dave was bringing people in that were like, yeah, dude, let's do it. So shout out to Dave. I would love to get a sponsor, though. I think a sponsor would be really cool if we were able to. That's something that, like, I mean, for real, when Stormgate becomes available to the public, like, heavily will consider seeing if like a bump in audience for Stormgate content would be enough to bring in a sponsor to do even like just the Stormgate side of a tournament, and then run StarCraft and Stormgate stuff in tandem. Kara gotta have context. Oh, I'm sure. Her job is already to ask people very kindly for money and help. She'd be a great content creator. She'd know exactly how to do it. All right, well, it looks like Nice may not show up, and we might be a little bit SOL here. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Yeah, no Nice, unfortunately. He's still got like a couple of minutes, but we're about 3-ish minutes away from giving DRG the walkover. Everybody else is going. I don't think I saw anybody else like looking for an opponent or anything. It looks like everybody's actively in a game. So that's good for us. Means everybody's here except for the one player we were waiting for. Sounds about right. But yeah, if anybody knows, you know, of any companies that are looking to do a little dabbling in the advertisement on esports, let me know. Hit me up. I'm sure we can work some ads into the KSL. We can get it on the map, like the Monster Energy and the ESL stuff. Make everybody put a little ad sponsor thing. We can remake a logo that's like built in with the logo of whoever's sponsoring. We can make it happen. Oh, you should be good to link, Thorn. Thank you. Yeah, we gotta get those coupon codes in. I've been really bad about pushing the coupon codes, but we do have coupons for the Matcherinos. The last 3 should still be up. After a little while, they default and you can't click them anymore, but I also pay out the tournaments around then, so. Can't do anything else. Adding 25 cents to the prize pool is... it's good stuff. All right, DRG getting the walkover. Sad times for us. I'll try to join another match partway through. I don't know who's casting what, though. Let's take a look. So Dave Test, I know, was casting the classic Foxer game. Steadfast is doing Parting Coffee. The Ducklings are in Cyan Firefly. Okay, that's kind of what I expected. So that covers most of the interesting ones. Oliveira Greff would be fun. If we can hop in a game 2 of that, I'd actually like to do that one. Not friends with either of them, though, so we'll try. That would also lead right into DRG. It'd be perfect. Previous ones don't have coupons anymore. Yeah. Oh, you know what? It's because it was like 2 weeks before. So sad. Too bad, so sad. I hope Parting does well today. I'm so stoked that he's in here. Honestly, there's like something that feels really nice about running the tournament that Parting is returning with, right? His first competitive game back. And it's a KSL game. YouTube Quest and Pizza Hut, dude. Pizza the Hut. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel and put money into the prize pool. It's true. It's a double win. Or you could just smash that subscribe button now. I'm hoping Oliveira Greff goes pretty quickly. I think Greff usually cannon rushes, but I don't know what he does necessarily in PVZ. Or PVT, rather. Thanks, Thorn, for shilling for me. You're a professional shill. I'm really bad at that. All right. We managed to get into game 2 of Oliveira versus Greff. Greff just let me know it's It's 1-0 for China at the moment. All right. Where'd the little guy go? Nope. Officer Bagel is gone. He has decided not to bless us with his presence today. All right, let's hop into our first game of the day, which is, funnily enough, a game 2. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have Oliveira, current reigning world champion, Dragon Kitesy gamer. And he is up against the Protoss. In the blue, in the upper left, it's Gref. I don't know if Gref is playing for a team at the moment. I believe he is. We'll look it up. Hasu Players. That is Gref's team. Good old Hasu Players. And what do we have there? That is a Forge. Did I say or did I not say that this is a Cannon Rusher? That's why we love Gref. That's why we're happy Gref decided to sign up today. He's going to start by dropping that pylon. I'm assuming last game was a Cannon Rush, although it did take maybe 8 to 10 minutes. So game 1 might not have been a Cannon Rush, and that might throw Oliveira off a little bit. I don't know if he's expecting the second probe up here to hit him with the boom. Ooh, the gateway to block that cannon off. SCV's coming, but no such luck. Oliveira's going to try to put the a few SCVs on each of these pylons here, try to knock them down, but it is going to take a while, and this cannon's on the way up. Bunker goes down. There is a Marine coming out. There's another cannon and a backup pylon. One of the probes does die, but that cannon is about to finish. There's a cancel on the second cannon. Ooh, the bunker. Gonna need another SCV. Gref also taking that assimilator. Now the question is this bunker in range of the cannon? It looks like the answer is yes. Bunkers actually give Marines 1 extra range. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So this is going to be a dead cannon. There is a Zealot on the way out, and it should pop out. These 2 pylons are a ways away from going down. I love that Gref focus fired the supply depot. Oliveira is kind of forced to build 2 right now because he's very supply blocked. Great focus fire here from Oliveira, hitting that pylon, changing it to the Zealot when he needed to. Now there is a second cannon going down on the low ground, but the Marines are holding this high ground very nicely. The Zealot is too low to protect that cannon. Gref is going to try again with a second Zealot about to pop. Oh, but no cancel on that cannon. Really nicely done by Oliveira, staying out there just long enough. And now this pylon will go down. The gateway will be depowered. And this cannon on the low ground, it's pretty far away from things. Also, the reactor is done now, so double Marine production here for Oliveira. And I think he's got to be feeling pretty good. A Cyclone's about to pop as well, and that's going to put him in a very nice spot. Such a nice spot, in fact, that Gref has decided to tap out. Great defense from Oliveira. You know, I feel like that's Oliveira just being like, hey, dude, I don't know if you knew this, but Harding's back on the ladder, and my Cannon Rush defense has stepped it up a little bit since then. Good hold from Oliveira. Not panicking. Clearly knew what he was doing. Very nicely done by our world champion. Gref, being a lovely person as always. GG's, Gref. Thank you for playing. Good to have you, even though there's a lot of ping to the Korean server. Just go carriers, dude. You don't need to micro then, dude. Just cannons at home, carriers. Easy peasy. Pain to play with 320. Yeah, I bet. I bet. There was one cancel in there that I know you would have gotten without that ping. 100%. Oh, and that means Oliveira is now up against DRG. You always want to catch the walkover. I'll try next time. I'll try to put you up against somebody who's definitely going to get walked over next time. I'll do my best. When Mio Micah signs up, I'll be like, I got him. Put them together. Yeah, it is. It's always Mio. And Nice today. Nice didn't show up today, so. It's true. Triple's gotten into a couple round of 8s. There's very, like, occasionally, yeah, you can just get into a round of 8. It happens. Worth signing up, I would say. I mean, worst case scenario, you cannon rush the world champ a couple of times. That's the way to go. Bruno,
He's a man, but
thank you
he's
for
also
gifting a sub to Gref. Gref, welcome to the flock, my friend. 5:30 in the morning, cannon rushing. That's StarCraft. No matter what anybody says, cannon rushing at 5:30 in the morning, that's real StarCraft. Thank you, Gref. You get some good rest, my friend. And we're going to cast the TVZ because it's time. We're into the round of 8 of this week's KSL, and that means bangers abound. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have Dragon Kites's Oliveira, the reigning world champion. His opponent in the lower right-hand corner, the blue Zerg player. Playing for the Afrika Freaks, it is DRG. The Dong Ray Gu. Pretty sure he plays for, I thought it was for the Freaks. Is he on Team NV? Or Abydos? Does that team exist anymore? Now I've confused myself. Now I have to look it up. I was so confident. DRG. Oh, he's on Mystery Gaming. Oh, he's not even on any of these. All right. Well, shows what I know. Yeah, Mystery Gaming's DRG, of course. MYG DRG. But this should be a fun one. Oliveira has looked very good lately, and I think he's going to be a bit tough to take down for DRG. But I feel like the thing about Oliveira is he can be a little bit inconsistent sometimes. And so I think if DRG has a good game, Oliveira maybe doesn't. DRG can absolutely take the win. We have a very exciting round of 8 in this KSL. It's shaping up real nice so far. I'm just stoked to have Parting in there. Parting in the tournament doesn't get any better than that. But I hope you guys are enjoying your time here. Consider hitting the follow button, subscribe button on YouTube, you know, all the good things. Would appreciate it. Maybe consider supporting the KSL on the Patreon. We're just talking about how we've dropped a little bit in those Patreon numbers as of late. But hoping to keep the KSL going. Maybe we need to get a sponsor. That's what we need. Somebody who wants to sponsor KSL. Do you want your logo of your brand up here next to the KSL logo? Maybe even integrated into the KSL logo. On the map, we could do that. We can arrange that. For hundreds, nay, thousands of viewers to see. Call up Red Bull or something. The Red Bull KSL. The Picari Sweat KSL. Hot 6. Hit me up, dude. You guys already have GSL. Do they do anything with ASL too? Maybe Hot 6 can just get all the star leagues. All the Korean-based star leagues. All right. TVZ. Oliver going for a what I would call the most extremely standard opening. I do like the Liberator coming out here. That is maybe a little bit more exciting. Maybe able to get a few drones with that. But it is just the 3cc Hellion-based opener. He's poking and prodding right now. DRG able to macro. Doesn't have to worry too much, but I'm not seeing any Spore Crawlers. And normally with this, Oliveira would be going for Banshee. So the Liberator's kind of a cheaper but slightly less safe play, I would say. Against somebody like Dark, a Liberator is probably not enough to deal with like 12 roaches walking across the map, which is absolutely something Dark would do. DRG is a little less likely to do that kind of thing, though. So I think the Liberator here makes a lot of sense. And in a pinch, it can still kill some stuff on the defense. Should you need to. But here comes Oliveira. He's going to poke at that creep a little bit. He's already killed the creep tumor with the Reaper earlier, and now killing one more as the Liberator sieges up over here. Again, no Spore Crawler. Means the Queen's got to come deal with this, and that's going to give the Liberator a chance to just back on out. While the Hellions find themselves a Queen to toast up. Big old toast to her. And DRG getting into his lair, getting into a Bane nest, just droning behind this. Oliveira didn't die for drones or anything. There's not a ton of lings out, but 17 lings should be enough to catch these and take them down if they decide to dive in the wrong spot. There's the Spore Crawler for DRG. Gonna be an easier way to push away that Liberator. Ling's looking for that third base. This is really nice timing for DRG, actually, as he is going to get here right as this base lands and should be able to force it to cancel and lift up. In fact, some of these SCVs, oof, almost entering the danger zone. The Lings run away. No problem. Easy peasy. And I love that Oliveira keeps these Hellions alive. There are times when you want to dive in and just get that kill. Get those kills on the drones. But, I don't know. I like this choice for Oliveira to keep them alive. And it's also going to make it so much more difficult for DRG to defend the next wave. Either the Hellions can be with this army. There's even an armory on the way, so he could even morph those into Hellbats as the attempt at the Baneling run by gets sniped. Or he could just hit in two locations. He's going to have two medevacs popping out. Oliveira could easily drop Marines on the top, run the Hellions into the bottom, something of that nature. Pull DRG apart a little bit. DRG a little bit slower on the upgrades here, so his 1-1's about halfway done. But it's about to hit for Oliveira, and he's got a nice little push cooking. I don't know where those Hellions went, though. It looks like they're staying at home to defend against any run-bys. So this is another nice little thing that... Oh my god, the Banelings almost made a huge hit. There's a couple of really nice Widowmine shots go off there. Armory is done, though, so they are invisible. I kind of like the Hellions staying at home in case of a run-by. That has been a very popular thing for the Zerg players to do. Just send some Lings on a counterattack, and if the Hellions are there to defend, it's an easy cleanup. But now they're joining some Marines on the bottom side. They are going to morph into Hellbats and make this a much more difficult push to deal with. While that double drop is still alive, still being annoying on the top, and Oliveira is going to make this very, very difficult for DRG. Hitting in both locations. There are more Lings and Banes on the way. That 1-1 is finishing up here for DRG. Baneling's going to roll forward, and actually some really nice connections there. Widowmine's not getting the shots. Oliveira going to be forced to pick up and get out. However, on the top side, there's no Lings and Banes to be found. Or there's a couple Lings and Banes to be found. Looks like it'll just be enough to force Oliveira back. He's going to try to stim off creep and snipe down these Banes. If he can take care of the last of those Banes, he will be able to kill this hatch. It looks like he will be able to get it anyways. That Queen's not going to be able to finish up. Oliveira gets out of there with most of his Marines, and he's going to join up with the next force over here, splitting against the Banelings, hoping he can get some nice Widowmine shots. There's a beautiful one, and all the Banelings will go down. DRG trying to pull everything away, but he's got to split his forces. He still has pressure on both sides. And Oliveira behind this, he is macroing. He is taking that fourth base. He is continuing his upgrades. 2-2 is, again, much further ahead than DRG's 2-2. But DRG getting into Hydras. And that's going to be very important to help push this away. Of course, the Hydras can hit up, much like these Queens, and the Medivacs won't be able to just stick around forever if there's a couple of Hydras around. They also just do better damage to the actual units. Any of the Hellbats that are left here, but even the Marines die much quicker to the Hydras. The thing about the Lings is they'll, as soon as they start hitting the Marines, they just pick up. The Marines just leave. The Hydras can actually get some kills on the Marines before the Terran can pull away, so nice little added bonus there. Oof. There is only one Hydra up here, though, so Oliver is still pressuring very consistently, forcing another cancel on another base. There's a lot of Marines down here. These Banelings need to get in here, but I do not see any Banes right now. It's just Queens and Hydras. And while those can do okay here, I think they need some Ling buffer. DRG is out of Lings to buffer with, and Oliveira, just with the constant pressure on both sides, is able to take the win there. Very straightforward TVZ from Oliveira, but just keeping too much pressure on. DRG really struggling to keep up in the Ling Bane phase. Tried to get into those Hydras, but wasn't quite able to make the transition. All right, game 2 is going to be on Solaris. Hope this one goes a little bit better for DRG. But it's a tough one. He is up against the world champion. The red Terran in the lower left-hand corner is, of course, Oliveira. The normal man, the innocent man. He's just like us. And in the upper right-hand corner, it is Mystery Gaming's Dong Regu. I don't expect too much different from Oliveira. Honestly, I don't know that I expect anything different from either of them. DRG might try to change it up a little bit once they get to the mid game, but Oliveira played that pretty straight up, and DRG was just struggling to deal with the multi-prong. Again, I really love that Oliveira didn't waste those Hellions, or I don't even want to say waste, because they can get in and like get good trades against Lings and drones, and it feels really nice. But for my money, if you're going to keep that pressure on and like poke and prod in multiple locations with different units, getting that multi-prong going quicker is so much more annoying for the Zerg to deal with. Having Hellions on one side and Marines on the other, or Hellbats to join up with one group of Marines like we saw last game, it just makes that first hit of units so much more powerful. If those Hellions are gone, the first two Medivacs and Marines are like super easy to deal with for the Zerg. It's actually just not a problem. It's not until a little bit later that it starts to get more difficult. But I like the way Oliveira used those. And again, I expect pretty much the exact same thing. I'd love to see DRG try to go for some mutas or something, but I don't know how good that is against what Oliveira did. I'm gonna guess probably not great. See if Oliveira can get another creep tumor with that Reaper. That's when we should have known it was over for DRG. If you lose a creep tumor to the Reaper, it's basically GG. Nothing so far. Third base able to go down. Looks like the rest of the bracket is shaping up. Still waiting on Parting versus Coffee. I don't know if that one's still going. But it looks like we also have Classic versus Creator. Solid PvP, the north side of the bracket. And then the winner of Firefly versus Cyan up against Dark. Dark looking very strong in this bracket. If I look at this bracket, I'm feeling a Dark victory today. But you know what? I said Oliveira is probably going to be doing the same thing as last game, and I was completely wrong. He's already got a second factory about to finish. And this is looking like some Cyclone play out of our world champion. Ooh, the Ling not going to be able to get in and sees 2 Hellions, and that is actually... It's such an anti-scout for DRG, I feel like, seeing 2 Hellions coming out after the 2 Cyclones. Because I don't think he's going to be expecting a ton of Cyclones. Maybe he will, though. Maybe these Cyclones already poking and prodding. He knows what's up. He knows the build. But this is going to be a lot of pressure out of Oliveira. And with that upgrade, the Cyclones move just as fast as they used to. They're speedy boys, makes them a lot harder for the Lings to get on top of. I like mixing in a couple of Hellions here too, just to help out against those Lings. But Cyclones these days don't need quite as much help against Lings as they used to. They used to really struggle against Zerglings, but now they change targets so fast, and those lock-ons just demolish the Lings. That can be really tough for a player in DRG's position. And he's going to have to start busting out Zerglings soon. He's up at over 50 drones already. But, I mean, there's a lot of Cyclones out. Already got 7, and it's 3 at a time right now for Oliveira. His third base just going down. It's quite a bit later than last game. DRG needs to get some Lings going. I do not think he realizes what he's up against. I think seeing those 2 Hellions really messed him up. I don't think he's going to be expecting 10 Cyclones with the upgrade to come running across the map any minute now. Still droning. 5 more drones on the way. The Roachhorn is finishing up. He might be waiting for that, but I feel like he just needs to get the Lings out right now. Oh no, Oliveira might just get an easy W here. There's just no units on the field for DRG right now. He doesn't even have that many queens. What, 8? Oh, that sounds like so many, but some of them won't even be fighting. They're going to be chilling back at the bases. And all of a sudden, DRG's got to be in a bit of a panic. There's so much stuff here. The Lings trying to get on top of this. Cyclone's not doing nearly as well against those Lings as I'd expected. The Queen's now fighting on their own. They are going to take down 1 or 2 Cyclones. Oliveira trying to pull back with the weakened ones, but don't really have anywhere to go. I don't know that it's really going to matter, though. More Lings popping out, finally here to the rescue. And it looks like that will be enough, but a lot of Queens going down here for DRG. So it doesn't quite end the game. Looks like Queens and Lings are still pretty good. But a very painful trade for DRG, who just lost. Yeah, he lost 8 Queens, so that was all he had. A couple more pop sins. And he does have Roaches on the way and a bunch of Lings coming out. So Oliveira needs to be a little bit careful being out here on the map still. Oof, I didn't even see that Widowmine. Oliveira going to take his third. DRG, I mean, I guess droning up to like 64 drones ended up being a pretty good idea. He's just chilling on full 3-base saturation right now. He can make as many units as he needs to as he gets this 4th base going on. Ling's looking for a counterattack, and you know what? There's really nothing here right now. Oliveira gonna spot this in time to raise the wall. He will be forced to cancel this base. But man, I can't believe that reaction time out of Oliveira. That is actually so sick. To be able to look back here and raise that depot that quickly, some high-level play. Turns out the world champion of the game is pretty good at the game. I don't know if you guys knew that. But DRG, I mean, he's barely droned in the last couple of minutes. It's Roaches and Ravagers, and all of a sudden Oliveira sees exactly what he's up against. It's a 160 supply of Roach Ravager. And he's going to try to kite back with these, kind of like you see with Blink Stalkers. Trying to pick off Roaches, pick off Ravagers if he can. with the Cyclones locking on. But it's not quite as efficient as something like a Blink Stalker. And I mean, this base is about to get hit. That engineering bay is not happening right now. Littling run by is going to get caught. Well, let's see if Oliveira has what it takes to stop all of these Roaches and Ravagers. This is so much stuff, and the base is already taking some damage here. A lot of SCVs starting to go down at this base. Tank does siege up. It could get biled down, but the Ravagers would have to get very close to do that. They are going to get super close and try to bile that tank down, but actually whiffs it. DRG misses the tank, and because of that, these Cyclones will clean absolutely everything up and push this away. Now, a lot of SCVs just died, 26 in total this game, and most of them right there. Oliveira down to 49 workers. And there are more Roaches and Queens here to help defend, but Oliveira is just going to counter push. Feeling like he's done a good job holding. I think he's absolutely has. With no Raptors out, these tanks are going to be even more of a menace. Roaches trying to get on top of them. Not a lot of Cyclones here to buffer, and it looks like Oliveira is going to lose this position. Is going to get shoved back. Just not enough Cyclones there to help them out. I think he'll have enough back at home to defend, but DRG's going to go for it anyways. He's just got more units on the way. He went up to 72 workers to cover this fourth base, and he is just not stopping with the counter pressure now. He's got to hit those biles, though. So many biles went down, and that tank stayed alive. DRG comes back in. He takes down the first tank, and Oliveira just decides that is too many Roaches. DRG will hold on against the Cyclones, get up to a high drone count, and then just pound Oliveira with Roaches. Turns out Roach Ravager is really good. All right, looks like Firefly took down Cyan 2-1. Is Parting Coffee still going? Actually, so sick if it is. I don't know if it's actively happening right now, but all right, let's hop into game number 3 here. We are all tied up 1-1 and spawning in the upper right-hand corner of Alcyone. It is Dragon Kite's Oliveira. His opponent in the lower left, it is Mr. Gaming's Dongriku. It finished in Coffee 1 2-1. Damn, I knew it was going to be competitive. Coffee's a very good Terran. Parting, rejoining the ranks here. GG's to Parting. It's unfortunate we couldn't get him in the round of 8 and get his first payout back from military, but good to see him playing in some competitive StarCraft again. Parting is a lovely human. And we all love him. We all missed him. We're all happy he's back. All right, so game 3. Don't necessarily expect Oliveira to go for Cyclones again. That was a fun little build, but DRG seemed to know how to handle it. He seemed very, very calm. Wasn't worried about him at all. He was like, Lings and Queens. It's good enough. Good enough for me. Lost a bunch of Queens, but I guess it's all right if you just keep making Queens. Turns out the answer for Zerg is just make more queens. Yeah, same crackpot. I have been really stoked for Parting to come back for a little while.
Oh man, Chickenman.
Also,
wow.
Thank you for the Prime. Welcome back to the flock. 6 months. Hot diggity. I got to play some Stormgate with Parting, and he was like looking so good in that. Still is, I believe. I haven't seen him play in a while, but I believe he's still looking very strong at Stormgate, and you know, he's pretty good at video games, so it makes sense. But excited to see him back in StarCraft. Also, I turned his stream on the other day, and man, it's just the same. I thought it would feel different, you know, like it had been so long, it had been a while. I thought it would feel different. Maybe he'd look a little different. No, it's the same Parting, dude. He's the same guy. And we are all still his sugar bears. And I love it. This Reaper really doing its best to get a kill. Does not have a kill. It brought, I think, 3 of those lings into the red. Brought a drone into the red. This is a second drone into the red. Didn't get any kills, though. No luck. Oliveira this game going for the quick third CC again, so more similar to game 1. In fact, very similar to game 1, except for the Viking coming out here instead of that Liberator from game 1. As I say that, starts up a Liberator as well, but the Viking's going to be able to take down the Overlord. Maybe push a couple of the other ones away. Yeah, DRG already pulling them back. But this is going to make DRG's vision a lot smaller, right? He's not going to be able to see quite as much on the map. With the Hellions sharking around on the ground to stop the Lings. The Viking in the air to stop the Overlords. Oh, Creep Tumor. Ooh, he gets it just barely. That last Reaper shot. So we'll see if this game ends up being a bit of a repeat of game 1. Maybe DRG's feeling like he wants a redemption for game 1. He is going to get a Ling in here and confirm that it's a third CC. Everything's looking pretty normal, pretty standard. No Cyclones this time, but this time the Hellions do want to dive in a little bit, trade with some of these Lings. Just get a few kills, but I think one of the Hellions died, so a little bit of a trade, Zeke. Ooh, Hellions gonna try to go for some drones, though. The Lings will come over. Liberator on the backside, gonna get killed by the Spore Crawler and the Queen. And that's, yeah, it's a few Hellions just trading out for Lings right now. No big drone shots there or anything. And this is kind of what I was talking about in game 1. I'm glad Oliveira did not throw away Hellions in game 1, but in game 3 here, sending him in, trying to find some damage, just doesn't really find much. Just trading for Lings, which in the grand scheme of things for the Zerg is not that important. I don't think DRG's too worried about losing 19 Lings. Oliveira going to start sending his Marines out, though. His 1-1 isn't quite as far ahead of DRG's as it was in game 1, but still a little bit ahead. DRG already has the Hydra Den on the way, too. So it feels like he's in a much better spot in general. Does need to deflect this first little push here, but the Lings and Queens should be enough to handle it. Creeps started getting cleared up. I love that DRG killed these rocks. I feel like I don't see enough Zergs focus on killing rocks. Particularly rocks like this, which are really centrally located. And there's some good tank pushes that hit here. Or even trying to push on this base with like a couple of tanks back here can be super difficult for the Zerg. But if you have these rocks open, that is no longer an issue, and suddenly Oliveira, he's just got to lift up and get on out of there. Needs to dodge those queens. But I feel like you can see how this pressure isn't quite as difficult to deal with in game one, and I really do think it comes down to those Hellions a little bit. Feels like DRG's a bit better set up to deal with this. Now, there are still a few Hellions left. The armory is about to finish. I think Oliveira was going to turn these into Hellbats, but they're going to get jumped on by the Lings already, and Oliveira not really watching. He is going to split now. He's lost most of this Marine force. Top side also forced to lift up and get away. Queen's going to come down here and try to push this away. Ooh, Transfuse does not quite save that one. One medevac goes down. So far, DRG doing, I would say, a great job defending this. He's got 4 bases up. A 5th one, actually, yeah, it's finished. 79 drones. Oliveira's scenario is quite nice, too, though. And he's got a lot of army coming out. He is going to be sending a lot of units across the map here. So DRG needs to be ready with enough Ling Bane. Honestly, some okay Baneling hits in there, but still quite a lot of Marine Mine left. And these mines living with so few hit points is so painful for DRG. Ooh, the mine shots. Oh, man, most of those Lings going down. Great focus fire from Oliveira. He's going to gun down the 2 Banelings that were left. And now DRG is just spilling in a couple of units at a time, and this is where it can become a problem. The 5th base goes down. The medevacs lift up and get on out of there. Oliveira also trying to hit down here, but the medevac is empty. The Marines are outside of it. They got to all join up, and then this push will be a lot stronger. Oliveira, though, going to keep that pressure on. Wants to try to get something done here. He's going to be forced to lift up and get out of there. DRG has another 5th base on the way, but he really does need a 5th base. He can't chill on 4 forever. I think he was going to try to take this one again, but the multi-prong here from Oliveira is very, very good. He is keeping that pressure on both sides, reinforcing the top side, then reinforcing the bottom side, making sure to lift up and keep these units alive so low in this medevac. But they will stay alive to fight another day. To die another day. As they say. Again, some great focus fire from Oliveira. Guns down those Banelings. And now he's going to reinforce the bottom side and keep on pushing. Maybe try to kill this 5th base. We are getting close to maxed. Nearing the 200 supply. Oliveira going to scan forward, sees the Lings, Banes, and Hydras. Going to poke and prod, but he's not going to commit to trying to kill the base or anything. I think there's enough here for DRG to defend. Again, some decent focus fire. He needs to be so careful of the friendly fire from that Widow Mine, as one of these medevacs is on 7 hit points. Widow Mine friendly fire will kill that, or it'll just die to the Hydras. There you go. Altogether, I feel like a very solid defense from DRG. The trades have been better for Oliveira, but DRG's been mining a bit more for the most of this game. He can't afford to lose too many bases, though, so I'm glad he's coming down here to try to deal with this. Ooh, however, the Venn diagram of the Liberators is actually causing him some issues, as the Hydras are not really winning that fight. It looks like they finally will, as the Lings and Banes push the Marines away. Not the cleanest fight for DRG, but he gets those units out of there and keeps this base alive. Keeping himself on 6 bases with 91 drones. Oh, that was a full medevac, I think, that just went down there for Oliveira. We're entering the late game. Oliveira's on 5 bases. There's Ghosts coming out. 3-3 is on the way for both players. Vipers and Lurker upgrades here for DRG. It's a lot of Marine Marauder. It's going to make those Banelings a little less impactful in the fight. Oh my god, but the Widow Mine. 19 kills on this mine. That is insane. And just like that, DRG needs some assistance up here. He's got to get those Lings out. This is such a Baneling, or a Marauder-heavy army that the Banelings can have a tough time. It is a little bit over stim, though. Makes it a little easier to take out. TRG does have some units split on the bottom as well, and it's 5 lurkers there at the bottom. Don't quite have their speedy burrow up yet, but should still be able to push these Marines and Marauders away. Some splitting here from Oliveira, trying to push this back, and all of the helpful units, the Lings, Banes, and Hydras, are gone right now, and some good focus fire here. A snipe from Oliveira, and he's just killing these lurkers. Every lurker goes down. The Lings are too late to the party. The friendly fire from that Widow Mine actually doing more damage to Oliveira there than I feel like the lurkers did. Turns out Terran splash damage is so good, it's even better against the Terran than the lurkers are. Some low medevacs here again. Oliveira retreating, pulling everything back to try to defend up here. Picking off some units as they get out of there, but this has pulled a lot of the pressure off of DRG. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to take this gold again. Yeah, there he goes. Oh no, but those were the Vipers. Oh, DRG just not looking for a second. Went to put that base down, maybe macroed a little bit. And Oliveira just happened to notice the Viper sitting a little too far forward. The snipe's going down. The Overseer's not even able to get up, and that means these cloaked ghosts are going to stay invisible as these Hydras try to come in here. Snipe's going down, but in general, these ghosts are actually just quite good. Ghosts are actually just good units. They have a lot of hit points for such a small little unit. And now off creep, the Hydra Baneling just not going to be able to stand up against this Bioforce. Oliveira, in the meantime, already has this set up as a planetary. He's got a bunch of extra command centers. Starting to like this game more and more for Oliveira, as it seems like DRG is struggling a little bit with the tools at his disposal. It's a very complex army. Can be very difficult to use. Losing those Vipers hurts so much, though. Ling's looking for a counterattack. One of the first counterattacks we've seen from DRG this series. Oliveira was really well set up for it in game 1. But I feel like more run-bys are a good choice here for DRG as this game gets bigger and longer. Lings finally get cleaned up. Another big set of Lings coming over. Thinking about doing the same thing, maybe. Oh, DRG, gotta be careful. Rude Widow Mine's killing a queen. Do see Liberator range on the way here, as well as high-sec auto-tracking and building armor. Very good upgrades for Oliveira. Those are the late-game Terran upgrades. DRG gonna let this base go down. We've got a bunch of lurkers hitting on the top side. Scan goes down, but that is too many lurkers for this SCV count, and that will be a dead planetary. Some units coming down and dying as well, and now the rest of the army's trying to get up there, but they're walking over creep, and that is going to let DRG know exactly where this army is, and he's going to try to get on top of it, but he's not going to get up there in time. Oliveira will kill every single lurker that was burrowed in the ground. Just sniping and splitting his way forward. DRG here with the rest of the army, though. He's going to try to push up this ramp, or at least grab some units. Some Widow Mines going off. Parasitic Bomb on the medevac, so there's not a lot of healing for this army of Oliveira right now. I feel like Oliveira does have enough here. He's just going to keep on splitting and pulling back. Still a decent amount of ghosts. He's got to be careful not to get any too big Baneling shots. It looks like most of the Banelings have gone down. One more actually doing a really nice job here at the third base. Oliveira's in a little bit of trouble, but DRG is using all of his money to do this. So if Oliveira can clean this up, he might be in an alright spot. He's been forced to lift his base, though. His third and fourth bases going down, at least temporarily. Fortunately for Oliveira, he's got bases 5 and 6 over here chilling. He's got a bunch of orbitals that he can drop mules with. And at the tail end of that, we see Oliveira ends up ahead in supply. DRG actually losing too many overlords. He's capped at 170 right now. He needs to recognize that and build some overlords. Oh my god. What a hit. Oliveira's Widowmine just getting huge damage in the middle of the map. DRG not able to kill it in time, and Oliveira's going to take advantage of that and keep on pushing. Big lane counterattack coming in here, and you know what? There is no wall in there anymore. So these lings are just going to tear this base up. The Liberator's trying to siege up and hold on back at home. This is going to make Oliveira pause on the other side of the map a little bit. They yoink forward, but the Liberator stays alive. Just going to keep on sieging up over these lurkers. Looks like the last of those lings has gone down. And Oliveira, as he pushes in, takes down the gold base. There's just no steam left for DRG. He has lost too many lurkers, too many banelings, and he's going to be forced to tap out. Oliveira will take the 2-1 victory. A very, very close game to close out that series there, but the world champion takes it, maintains his status as being very good at this game. GG. Oh man, I ran out of energy drinks and I'm really wishing right now that I had one. Could really use some sugar and caffeine, you know? Oliveira moves on to the semifinals. Looks like the top side semis is Dark versus Classic, which I don't think has started yet. We might be able to sneak into that. That might be the way to go. Oliveira is waiting for Cure versus Coffee. Actually, nobody is casting Cure versus Coffee right now. What are these other casters doing? What is happening? Oh, wait. No, that's not... They're not in game right now. Okay. I don't know why Dave cast Classic and then didn't cast Classic Creator. I don't think anybody covered that. It means we're not going to have replays for it. Guys got to get their stuff together. By these guys, I mean Dave. Dave, gotta get your stuff together. Come on, man. Come on, bud. I'm gonna grab some water. Trying to make sure somebody is in Cure versus Coffee. Okay. I think there's a whole group of people. Wait. Oh, hold on. Oh, maybe not. All right, nobody's casting Cure versus Coffee. Oh, except Anki, who didn't invite anybody to the game. Anki, come on. Damn it. Well. I'm gonna get some more. I'm in Classic versus Dark. I might... I'm kind of hoping that Cure Coffee takes a while. Because that's just starting too. I don't want to miss the other semis, is the thing. Because right now, only Enki is casting Cure versus Coffee. So if that ends before this ends, which it probably will, there'll be no English commentary for the other semis, which I would not like. So might have to leave this to join that. We'll see. But in the meantime, we'll just cast this one. That might just be the way to go. Because in the lower left-hand corner of Alcyone, we have Dragon Kitesy Gaming's Dark. The #1 seed in today's tournament, the favorite to win this bracket. And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner, a longtime nemesis. It is Classic, playing for the Twisted Minds. Dark has taken out Classic in some big tournaments in the past. Classic looking like one of the strongest Protoss in Korea as of late. It was the only Protoss to make it into the round of 8 at Atlanta. I feel like Classic has looked pretty damn good the last 6 months or so. Had some strong runs. But Dark is forever the ender of strong runs. There's nobody who ends runs quite like Dark does. Just when you think a player's been looking good, they go up against Dark, and that's kind of it. We'll see if Dark can do it here. Classic certainly has the ability to take down Dark. Don't get me wrong. He's just a scary player. He's a scary Zerg player. Classic knows it. Classic, though, going to keep it standard. Not going for anything crazy, at least not yet. Just opening with the Stargate. Gonna pressure with the Adepts. It's the classic. The thing about these openings is I feel like, I don't know, they seem so hit or miss with the Adept Oracle pressure. Sometimes it feels impossible to stop, especially when MaxPax is doing it. Those first few Adepts come in, and I'm like, how is it possible to stop this? How do you stop from losing, 8 drones to 2 Adepts and an Oracle? Even Dark has been susceptible to that before. There's been a couple times where I've seen MaxPax against Dark, and Dark just loses way too much at the start. But so far, the Adept's not committing in at all. Classic decides to back up, wait for the second Adept, and then maybe go back across. I kind of like this choice, and it was a Phoenix first, too, to try to stop any scouting on what's going on in Classic's base. So because it's Phoenix first, Classic felt the need to keep these Adepts back at home to defend instead of having that Oracle to do the job just in case. Now, looks like he's not going to harass at all with the Adepts. Just going to keep them at home. This is a nice benefit to keeping the Adepts at home, is you don't have to worry about keeping the Oracles at home to defend. Sometimes those Adepts go across the map and just die. Even if they get some drone kills, the Lings will just go counterattack immediately. Suddenly the Oracle has to defend, and I feel like the Oracle has a little bit more potential than the Adepts, generally speaking. It is a Twilight Council here out of Classic. A couple more gates going down. It feels like it's going to be a Glaives build. He wants to get some Glaives pressure on. That would also explain why he kept these Adepts alive. Those can be a little bit more useful later on. So far, I'm liking this from Classic. He's not over-committing with anything, but it also means he just hasn't gotten any damage done, right? He killed the one Overlord, and that is it. But he's going to dive in now. Let's see if he can get some drones. He's going to lift up that Queen. The Spore Crawler will push these away, but not before they get, 1, 2, 3, 4 kills. But that is a dead Oracle for 4 kills. Consolation 5th drone kill here as these guys fly away. But a dead Oracle for those first 5 drones doesn't necessarily feel worth it. Glaives is already about halfway done. It's a very quick upgrade. There's more Adepts being warped in every moment. And Classic already has 11 Adepts out on the map. He's going to grab 4 more and send them across. Ooh, the Lynx try to come in here for a counterattack, and they're going to spot these Adepts shading forward. And that's not really where you want to be as Dark. You don't want to see those Adepts as they're about to start their move across the map. He does have some Ravagers morphing, some Roaches out already. That's going to help out against this quite a bit, but a lot of dead Lings. Going to make it a lot harder to chase these Shades as the Ravagers are getting jumped on a little bit. The Adepts decide to finish that Shade, and oh no, the top side Adepts getting jumped on. However, the bottom side Adepts just killing every drone at the base, so that looked bad for these Adepts, but all of a sudden Dark just losing absolutely everything, and now the Adepts shade forward. And we're going to see Classic target down even more drones. He's going to trade with some of these Queens and Roaches as well. Files going down, but that is 24 dead drones. Dark is down to 23 workers, and I think Classic has just won this game. Like, that's just it. And I think he recognizes how much damage he's done. He killed every drone at this natural base, and he's just going to go home. Going to go home. He's got an Immortal on the way. Dark was planning this push. He's already got a Dropper Lord, but the Queens don't want to drop out yet. The rest of the units aren't here. Phoenix trying to do some damage to these Overlords, but Oracle going to get taken out. That is a big problem for Classic. Classic just needs to hold. Dark is on 22 workers. This is it. This is all Dark has. He's just building everything he can right now into this. Force Field's going down. The Immortal trying to stay alive over here. Doesn't have any shield batteries to help it out, though. Shield batteries are all over at the third base. More force fields going down. Is there enough for Classic? There's so many Ravagers here. 11 Ravagers. It looked like Classic had this game, but I don't know if he's got enough to hold on. More Adepts trying to warp in. With those Glaives, they can do this pretty damn well. This Immortal is getting kind of low. The Phoenix just lifts up one Ravager. That's all it can really do here. Immortal pulling back. There's still more shield battery energy. Meanwhile, on this side, a second Immortal popped out in the natural. And with the warp-ins, the Queens are all going to go down, it looks like. Probe's getting pulled. Classic knows how far ahead he is in the workers. I think Classic's got enough here. He's got another warp-in. He's going to pull those probes again. He's going to lift up yet another Ravager. The Bile's going to pepper down on some of this. More Lings coming in, trying to get a surround. But I think this is just too much for Classic. Dark doesn't have enough to clean up the rest of this army, and that, my friends, I think is just going to be a GG out of Dark. Classic hitting them with the four gate Glaives. Dark planning a big old push there, not droning up, but loses all the drones. The push not able to close it out, and Classic wins game number 1. There I am talking about how Dark likes to knock down players like Classic. Classic says not today. Not in game 1 anyways. Solid game there from Classic. Yeah, I didn't realize Dark was going for that big push. I noticed the Dropper Lord, but as I was noticing that, the Glaive Adepts were like starting to hit, and I had to focus on that. Yeah, it explains why Dark was on such a low drone count. He was about to go completely all in. And Classic just hit at the exact perfect time. Also, he had so many Adepts. I don't usually expect that many Adepts with a 4-gate Glaives. Like a Stargate into 4-gate Glaives. I feel like there's usually not quite that many. That ended up working out really well. Killing so many drones. Dark just had no recourse against that. None at all. How are the 9th redeeming the cat treats? We will have to see if we can lure him out. I'm sure if I even just open the cabinet the treats are in, 100% he's going to be on it. I'll do that after this match. We're going to hop into game number 2 now. On to Hard Lead. The most badass of names. Map names. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner, we have Dragon Kites's Dark. His opponent in the upper left, it is Twisted Minds Classic. I love the map name. It's so metal. Yeah, dude. It's so metal. I don't even know what to respond to that with. That's Harrow, that's like... That's a Fear Dragon level one right there. That's ban-worthy, honestly. Yeah, hit him with the it's so metal. I mean, I do like the map name, though. Sounds like a lyric from a George Thorogood song. I hit him with some hard lead. Maybe something like Tychus would say. Tychus would definitely refer to the like Gauss rifle bullets, slugs as hard lead, 100%. So Dark last game going for a big ol' all in. See if he does it again this game. I'm sure it'll be a different one. The thing about Dark is he can absolutely play some big boy macro games. But that doesn't mean he's going to. He can. He could. But is he going to? Who knows? Who's to say? Personally, I feel like we're going to see Dark go for another big attack. Lots of roaches, maybe even some Ravagers mixed in. This time, though, I don't think the Queens will be coming in the German taxi. We shall see. I wonder if Dark was doing that specifically against like a build Classic has been doing lately. I've seen from a couple of different Protoss players the double Stargate Oracle build. And Dark has bopped that a couple times, and you know, the Queens and the Prism, or the Overlord would be very good against that. Turned out not to be the case, but could be something Dark was thinking about. Looks like one Adept is going to trade its life for a couple of drones. That indicates to me that Classic isn't going Glaives this game, since he didn't, you know, doubly make sure to save those Adepts. It is still Phoenix first, though, from Classic, and this is really interesting. It's funny, so there was the Void Ray buff, right? We had the Void Ray meta for a while. And then once the Void Ray was nerfed, we stopped seeing it, and we started seeing the Phoenix again. But then I feel like Protoss players started realizing that like Void Rays were still pretty good, and it was worth the extra investment to have just that like little bit of extra defense and fighting power against things like the build we saw from Dark last game. But now we see Classic going back to the Phoenix again. So it's a little bit cheaper, builds a little bit faster. The nice thing about the Phoenix is you can lift up the Queen at the base, and that can help the Oracles get some damage done, as we're seeing here. But with that Spore Crawler finishing up All these guys need to get out of there. The Phoenix getting a little low as it escapes. Not a lot of damage getting done. Actually, no drones went down to that whole little harass there. Classic quite a bit later, I would say, to the tech this time. But it's going to be a Twilight, a Forge, and a Robo. So that indicates to me that it's going to be Blink. He could do a cheeky charge build as well, but I'm feeling like Blink's probably going to be the answer as these Oracles, again, get pushed away by the Queens. This is something I do notice from Dark, is he generally is very good with his Queen movement. He keeps a few different groups of Queens around and makes it a little bit easier to catch those things, those Oracles. We saw last game that first Oracle, one of the first Oracles going down to some good Queen placement from Dark. Couple more drones get gunned down. The Baneling nest gets scouted, as does the morphing lair. And it is going to be charge. So those Oracles go back in, but again, another Oracle dying. Not really worth it. For just, it's still just the same 2 drones. I don't know what the Oracles targeted down the next time they went in, but Classic really not getting a lot of damage there. A lot of cost efficiency out of those Oracles. But it is going to be charge and +1, so it seems like there's going to be a Charge Lot Immortal Archon kind of thing going here for Classic. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big 3-base timing with this army, or he might just be gearing up to deal with a big push from Dark. That is the kind of thing you can expect from Dark sometimes. It's like, all right, I'm on 3 bases. Dark might just go for like a ton of pressure. We're already seeing a bunch of Lings and Banes coming in here. Where are the force fields? There they go. Not letting those Banelings get through. Oh my god, look at the warp ends here from Classic. The cannon on the way. He has anticipated this, at least to some degree. The force field levels are getting low. Zealot's going out there to try to tank the brunt of this to keep those juicy sentries and adepts alive, as well as the stalkers. Oracle comes back to help clean this up, but man, there's a lot of Lings coming, and these Immortals are not going to be all that helpful against them. But it looks like Classic will hold on for now. There's still more Lings out for Dark. Classic needs to get some good SimCity going here. He's trying to morph an Archon, but that Archon is not quite ready yet. There it goes. Can it get finished in time? The Oracle just has no energy. All of the units are dying. The force field gets put up, but the Archon breaks it even while it's morphing. The Archon does finish with half its health left. That is going to be enough to kill a lot of these Lings, but the Banelings coming in behind this, and Classic is losing so much. He did just accidentally smash those Banelings on the Nexus, which is a bit of a problem, but I think the majority of these probes are going to go down anyways. Zealot's trying to warp in to help out against this. Can the Immortals come over and help? It's a lot of the supply here for the Protoss in these Immortals. The Oracle had enough juice to turn back on, but it has once again run out of juice. Probes fighting here with this to help out these Immortals. It looks like the Immortals will hold on for now, but without a shield battery to help out with, I don't know if it's going to be enough. Ling's now trying to break in through the front door. They're not going to be able to. The Immortals finding some good surface area with some Zealots around them. Classic is desperately trying to hold on. He's ahead in workers despite losing 18 probes. Dark is so committed to this. He's starting to drone up a little bit behind it, but that was a ton of lost Zerglings and Banelings there for Dark. He still has a lot out, but if Classic's able to get these Archons up, I feel like he's going to be in a fantastic spot. There's really not much behind this for Dark. He does have Roach speed on the way, so he could get into Roaches. But there's still 2 Immortals alive. There's a 3rd and now a 4th one on the way. And Classic, I mean, he handled this beautifully. That hit, I think, just before Classic was really ready for it. So he did lose quite a bit. But I think he's quite content with where he's at. Tech-wise, certainly Classic's army is much better. Charge Lot Immortal Archon is just better than, like, Ling, Bane, Roach, which is what Dark is working with right now as he's trying to get at the first dozen Roaches. Ling's breaking the rocks down, seeing if they can't find a cheeky way in. Ooh, the Banelings. Ooh, the Banelings. Classic, you watching? Classic. Classic. Oh! Oh, he's at the very last second. He does turn around and look. Pulls a lot of those probes away. 6 probes going down. Can he get one more shot? Woo-hoo-hoo. Shield battery heals all those back up to full shields. But that is going to be 8 dead probes. If the Lings are able to get in here, they will clean up a lot of these probes very quickly. But it looks like that is about it for now. Classic's 4th Nexus finishes up. Dark does have a 5th about to finish. But yeah, for the majority of this game, Classic was mining more. Dark is now taking a bit of a lead off the back of killing some probes. He's got that 5th base. But it is just more units out of Dark. He's at 73 workers, and he says, that's actually fine. That's enough. I don't need any more than that. I love the stasis wards here. These could be huge. The Nexus getting targeted down. Oh, some Biles actually kill 2 of those High Templar of Classic. Classic, he doesn't have Storm researched? Oh, he doesn't have Storm Energy on that one. Sorry. He does have Storm researched. As we see there, a big Storm going down. That is the only Storm available right now, though. As Lings are getting into the natural and into the main base, Classic trying to deal with those, but also trying to deal with this frontal push. Not looking there for a second. There's a lot of units not here to fight. The Nexus getting targeted again. Dark really wants to just kill this 4th base, but he's not going to be able to get it just yet. That being said, 22 probes going down. Stasis Ward just catching a few of those Lings there. More Lings going to try to go in, and Classic the door. Classic the door. No, the door. Already busted by some Banelings earlier, and now the Lings just getting right on in there. Classic, I think he was so well set up for this, but just didn't quite have enough there. A Bile just killed an Observer. Don't see that every day. Classic saw that, and he said, that is it. But no, Dark overrunning there. The Lings and Banes getting into the main and natural, causing so many issues for Classic. And then on top of that, the main army, while Classic was focused on the run by, the main army was getting jumped on, a bunch of units going down while he wasn't there to micro them. And Dark ties the series up. Ooh. Can we do cat treats before we get into this game? I think we can. He came out immediately. Yes, baby. The people want to see you eat cat treats. Crazy cat. I love you, buddy. You just got so many. So many cat treats for a kitten. That's all of them, though. Can you say hello to them? Meows. No. No meow. He just eats them so fast. He kept knocking them down. I don't know if you could see. He would like drop one and be like, oh, wow, I gotta get it. You got them all though, didn't you? Yeah, you did. I don't even know where he was hiding. I took him out of the closet and turned around and he was immediately right next to me. It's like that meme of the cat opening the drawer. Or opening the drawer and the cat's just there. It's like that meme, but just exactly that. Anyways, hopping in to game number 3. Not nearly as cute as that cat. We have Dragon Kitesy's Dark, spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Oceanborn. His opponent in the upper left, it is Twisted Mind's Classic. He's afraid if he doesn't eat them fast, I might try one of them. I think they're just like crack to him. It's like me when I eat like chocolate, you know? I'm like, I want to eat it all. You know what's super good? I don't know if any of you guys have been to a restaurant called Din Tai Fung. I don't know how common they are. Probably not many people in chat have been, because I feel like there's not that many of them. But they have these like chocolate mochi dumplings. The chocolate mochi xiaolongbao. And they are so good. It's actually insane. It's basically the inside of a lava cake, except it's in a dumpling. There's no cake around it. I don't like cake. So lava cake appeals to me in that I love chocolate, but I don't like cake, so I don't eat it. But this is like the lava cake without the cake, and instead it's just wrapped in a little dumpling. And it's one of the best things I've ever eaten in my entire life. And every time I eat them, every time I go there and eat them, I am just so happy. I'm so unbelievably happy. Such a wonderful experience. I hope if there is a Din Tai Fung near you, you can go and enjoy that experience as well. Anyways, I imagine that's what the cat treats are like for him, except I am a grown adult and I have enough self-control to eat things slowly, no matter how much I like them. Generally speaking. Generally speaking. Another Stargate opener here for Classic as the first adepts get sent across. Interesting that Classic put a pylon down here. He didn't want Dark to take this base. And honestly, I think it's because he doesn't want Dark to be able to push across the map quite as easily. Like, this base isn't quite as good to push across with as this third base would be. And I wonder if that's what Classic was considering when he decided to put that pylon down. And he did cancel it, and I don't know if it actually affected anything or if Dark just took this base, but I kind of wonder if that was the train of thought there for Classic. Like, let's block him from taking this one because it's easier to attack from this one. No, it's a possibility. Classic going Phoenix first again, and then straight into a Twilight Council once again. So I wonder if this is going to be another Glaives build. It worked very well in game 1. I mean, you know, they say if it ain't broke, do it again in game 3. It's funny how often I see that kind of strategy out of players. Is Dark's got a Roachborn on the way already. All right, in the back of his main mineral line. But that, like, do a game 1 strat, it works, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to change it up for game 2. And then that doesn't work. You're like, all right, back to basics. I don't know why I didn't just do this again. Maybe I should have. And yeah, Classic again, just going for Glaives. He's got 2 more gates on the way. He did lose 1 Adept this time, which is something I was praising him for not doing in game 1. We'll see if that 1 Adept makes a difference. But also Classic, or Dark rather, is doing a very different build. It is still highly aggressive and has brooches and lings, and in this case, Queen's just walking across the map, which Classic is going to spot. And now he knows what he is up against, and I think he's got to get some shield batteries down. There we go. Shield batteries going down at the third base. 3 of them. There's 1 in the natural as well. And Classic is just going to try to hold. He does have Glaives about 3/4 of the way done. The Queens are still pretty far away. That's definitely going to give time for Glaives to finish before this fight really gets going in earnest. Dark has realized that there must be Glaives on the way because he sees all of these Adepts. But he's going to back up. He's got to wait a little bit. That's going to give time for these shield batteries to finish. I love the Stasis Ward as well. And that's going to catch a bunch of those Lings as the first few Biles actually whiff there. Dark missing his first set of Biles, which is pretty big. And he just backs up. He's got 6 drones on the way. Dark realizes you're too well set up for this. You saw what was coming. You were ready to go with the Glaives Adepts. And decides not to commit against this. I love that he shaded in one of the directions to try to catch those Lings if they went that way. That was a cute little move from Classic. Classic does still have a bunch of Glaives Adepts that could go across the map and be very annoying here. Dark has the army to deal with it, certainly. But if a couple of these Adepts make it into a base without Dark being able to send the units there quick enough, it'd very easily target down 6, 7, 8 drones. So I like that Classic is poking and prodding with these. Might be able to clear up some creep. Honestly, if these Ravagers aren't careful, the Adepts can turn around and maybe get a kill there. They're going to cancel that shade again. I think Dark is held on. It doesn't look like any damage is really going to get done here, but Classic utilizing the units that he has before getting into Blink +1 and a Robo Bay. Good stuff. Little Blink Colossus follow-up here for Classic. No third base, or fourth base for Dark. He's up to 69 drones, but not even a fourth base started. That makes me wonder if he's just going to go for a big ol' attack. I guess not. I mean, he's got the infestation bit on the way. +1 just started up. And there is that fourth base. It just feels so late. But I guess he wasn't maybe super confident in being able to defend it. That Adept will take one for the team to scout out the location of that army. Yeah, Classic's fourth base, not that different of a position from Dark's. And ooh, that Nidus going down. Yeah, that is going to be 10 Swarm Hosts here for Dark. So Dark, he's going to go for the high value proposition here, trying to get some Swarm Hosts going. 2 Adepts in the Prism is really nice, but unfortunately Dark knows about it. So that will be 1 Prism leaving. But most importantly here for Classic is he does not know what he's up against. I do not think he is scout. Okay, he's about to spot the Nidus. I don't know. Okay, if he's watching right now, he will see those Swarm Hosts go in there.
Mineral field depleted.
I don't necessarily know that he was watching right now. Oh, but the Stalkers are coming down right away. Dark has got to pop these and send them at the units because all of a sudden the Nidus is down and Disruptors have popped out. They're going to try to get on top of those Locusts. They will not be able to, though. And this army, a lot of this army is going to be forced to fight the Locusts. The Stalkers, again, trying to kill that Nidus, trying to stop these Swarm Hosts from getting home. And Classic is killing so many Swarm Hosts. He is losing a lot of his army for this, though. And his army is also not there to defend this fourth base. That is going to be a dead fourth, a bunch of dead probes. However, almost every single Swarm Host just went down. 7 of the 10. And I don't think... Okay, a few more were made. So 5 more were made. There's still 8 total. But I feel like that still worked out really well for Dark. He had enough of a ground army to support those Swarm Hosts where he's able to just kill the fourth base. And now Classic is in kind of an abysmal spot. And while there's not that many Locusts to really be worried about, Dark is fully maxed. And if there's not that many Locusts, that means there's a lot of Roach Ravager. That first Disruptor Nova does not connect to anything. There's actually no more Disruptor Novas left available right now, as the Swarm Hosts are going to pop to the left of this army. Classic needs to back up. Oracle doing its best here to try to pick off some units. Those Locusts are going for the base. 2 more Colossi pop out. Classic, is he just going to leave this base to die, or the probes to die, rather? That is a lot of dead probes so quickly. Oh my god, Locust do damage like it's actually insane. 21 probes going down. And Dark, despite that first Nidus being jumped on so quickly by Classic, he's found the damage he really needs. Got to be a little bit careful here. There's a lot of firepower in Classic's army, but I still overall like this game for Dark. He is very low tech. He's trying to get into lurkers now. His hive is done. We can get those lurker upgrades, but Classic is pushing across the map. He's got 4 Colossi with him. He's got a bunch of Blink Stalkers. The upgrades are even for both of them. Hydra upgrades finishing up, but there's no Hydras out, I don't think. Which means there's also definitely not going to be any lurkers out, but hold the phone here. Dark hitting from all angles. He's got the Locust on the back. He's got Roaches hitting on both sides. The Colossi are so left on their own. The Stalker's nowhere to be found. The Prism doing its absolute best here, but it is not going to be even close to enough. As that game ends with Dark at 193 supply. It felt like he didn't lose anything. Just such a good fight there for Dark, fully surrounding the army. And that is going to be GG. Dark will take the 2-1 victory over Classic and move on to the grand finals. In the meantime, Cure versus Oliveira is going on the bottom side of the bracket. Enki Alexander is casting that one. I don't think anybody else is casting that one. But they are in game 2 right now. I will grab those replays and cast them after we're done here. So if you guys do want to see Cure Oliveira, obviously we'll be spoiled by the finals, but I will cast those afterwards. I gave him cat treats and he's still not out here. I don't know where he is. I think he must be under the bed. He doesn't usually hang out under there, but I guess today is an under the bed kind of day. He has so many little places he likes to be. Like he'll sit up on the cat tree. Sometimes he'll go in the little cubby hole in the cat tree. But he also has this little tent here that he likes to go in. Is this not the cutest thing in the world? And he'll just hang out in there. Yeah, he's adorable. Is there firework? There's no fireworks. Even when there are fireworks, they're far enough away from me here that you can't really hear them. The windows do a pretty good job blocking the sound. It's a cat tent. Its sole purpose is to be a cat tent. I don't really know what you would use it for other than just to be cute. Because like if I was going camping, I guess, honestly, it could be good for actually camping. You could have it in your tent, right? But then, if you needed to, like, contain the cat, it zips up. So it could work very well as a carrier. If you needed to in a pinch. Could be good for camping. It's also adorable. I'm gonna refill the water again. Nice thing about not having the energy drink is drinking a lot more water. We'll get into game 3 of Cure Oliveira if there is one. Hey. What do you think you're doing? He was going to jump on the counter, and I said, no. No jumping on the counter here. Instead, you will come cuddle me, like the little baby you are. Where do you think you're going? Hmm? Ow! What a goofball. He's a sweetheart. No. Hey. What'd I say? Yeah, I said don't jump on the counter. Right. Why you look like you're gonna jump on the counter? He likes to jump on the counter and sniff the dirty dishes. Drink the water out of the dirty dishes if there's any in there. What are you doing? You have a water dish. I think he just does it to piss me off. He knows I don't want him up there. He's such a goofball. Alright, let's take a quick stock of the situation here. It looks like the game might be about to end. I'm seeing a 50 supply difference in a TVT, and that is telling me this game might end soon. We'll keep an eye on it. We will have a TVZ finals, which is actually so sick. And either Cure or Oliveira in the finals against Dark is like this guaranteed banger. Guaranteed banger, dude. Apparently Coffee got beat by Parting on Ladder Revenge. That's fantastic. Is Parting streaming? If Parting's streaming, I'll raid him after this. I love Parting, dude. He's so good. $900 viewers, yeah. Carrying the StarCraft scene. He's gonna bring everybody back to StarCraft. Almost more than Pig and Steadfast combined. Sounds about right. It's a bit annoying, but I love it. That's just a parting stream summed up in 2 lines. Like it just that's exactly what you expect from a parting stream. It's kind of annoying, but also I love it. It's like I feel like his microphone is a lot better than it used to be. I kind of miss it. I kind of wish we still had the like.
Get a flag! You guys, I suck so bad. Oh, my sweet puppy bears.
Like we need that back. You have 4 streams open, send you hard carrying the scene. Based. Absolutely based. The most mouthy Korean. Yeah, I mean, Parting he's got so much personality. He's such a big personality. I really hope he's at the next event. I'm really sad that his military service ended like days after Atlanta. If we could have gotten him to Atlanta, that would have been so sick. Would have loved to hang out with Parting. But hopefully we can get him in Dallas. I would really love to go to Home Story Cup. That's like a major goal of mine, would be to go to Home Story Cup. And I'm worried now at this point in StarCraft that like every Home Story Cup could be the last one. You know, I like big part of me thought number 20 was going to be the last one, and we're lucky that it's kept going, but I don't know. I do not know. But I don't think I'd be able to make it to there and to Dallas. They're way too close together. It's like a 2-week in between. How is this game still going? Are we for real? It's crazy. There's still like a 50 supply difference. You don't think Dennis will let it die until we know Stormgate's future? Yeah, I kind of agree. I feel like, I mean, you know, I'm not going to pretend to know any of the ins and outs of, you know, there's specific setup they have, or how costly it is to run, or how close like their margin is on, you know, what they make from sponsors and from people donating. But I feel like it still gets very consistently supported every time they do it. Maybe there would be like less of them, or like lower prize pool or something like that. I feel like the last few there's been less Koreans going over, but that's always kind of been the case. I feel like Home Story Cup, sometimes they'll get a handful of Koreans, but sometimes it's like just Bunny. But I would love to go. I really hope he does keep it going. Dennis is a great dude. And I do think there's a lot of potential for the future right now for RTS in general, but I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like StarCraft is going to get held up a little bit by, you know, hopefully Stormgate and Zero Space and other games coming out doing decently. I think if Stormgate has a big enough audience, it can pull StarCraft up with it. But I think StarCraft, with the longevity it has, StarCraft 2 will sustain itself. But if it gets pulled up by Stormgate at all, I think it will also sustain Stormgate. Like, I feel like they will be connected in a way. Obviously, it's literally impossible to know, but that's my hope. Late hour SC2 is perfect training for Stormgate. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm really interested in what the market for the RTS is going to look like. I hope it does well. And I hope, honestly, my big hope and the thing that I think would actually seal the life of StarCraft 2, but also the life of Stormgate in a way. I really think they're going to be linked to some degree once Stormgate comes out. But I think if Stormgate does well enough and the RTS scene in general does well enough, I wouldn't be too surprised to hear rumors of StarCraft 3. We already have, but they're not really a real thing yet. I wouldn't be surprised to see that before too long. Maybe like a year into Stormgate, depending on how it's doing. It would still be years and years away from actually happening. But like that kind of news would give legs to StarCraft 2 like nothing else. The news of StarCraft 3 being even announced and like 6 years from coming out would give legs to StarCraft 2 for that whole time. It just would. That's, for me, that's kind of the hope, because I feel like that would just be like continuing to step forward. And
if there's 3x first-person shooter stages at DreamHack, it's hard not to dream about our future.
It really is. And also, like, I don't even know what game it was. I thought it was Valorant at first, but it was actually not Valorant. Because the CS2 stage was right next to StarCraft, right? And obviously I expect Counter-Strike to have as many people, if not more people, than StarCraft. And it did, in general. There was people standing consistently for Counter-Strike, which was still cool to see. Counter-Strike, it's an old game, man, in general. Obviously, CS2 just came out, but, like, Counter-Strike is an old title. And to see that still doing well was really nice. But there was one next to that, too, that had, like, way more production value, and they were, like, spray painting a mural, and it had, like, the casters were all like on a desk and very visible, which I thought was cool. And they had, yeah, their production value was huge. Man, there was nobody there those first 2 days. COD Mobile, that's what it was. Yeah, it was COD Mobile. And I was like, what are we doing? Why is so much money going into the COD Mobile stage? There was like, it was just empty. The third day, there were some people there. It wasn't fully empty the third day. There, like, the seats were, you know, it looked like, yeah, okay, sure, there's people. But those first 2 days, man, I looked and I was like, I could count the number of people sitting in these chairs. And I can't count very high. Oh, it's just, I don't want to say it's frustrating, but, like, it confuses me that we have a game that very clearly has such a solid player base and such a solid viewer base that is always here, always just so consistent. And it's like, it's real people who watch the games, watch them through, follow the players, watch every tournament. The fact that, like, this little $400 weekly has like 500 viewers right now, and there's not even any of the, like, main major streamers streaming it. Like, the viewer base for StarCraft 2 is so much more solid than any of those other games. Who's watching COD Mobile? Who's doing it? Oh, yeah. I mean, that does make sense, Bruno. That does make sense. The international audience, obviously, is a different thing. I think a lot of the StarCraft audience is in Europe. Like a huge portion of the StarCraft audience is in Europe. But it was really cool in Atlanta to see 2 years in a row such a big turnout of North American fans. Like, you know, the North American StarCraft fans just don't get enough love. But the moment there's a tournament there, we're in it. Come out from everywhere. Anki sent me the replays of Cure Oliveira, so we can cast that once this is done. But we are into the finals. You don't want to know who won Cure Oliveira, because I'm going to cast it later. Stop watching now and watch the VODs later, because about to put it in the title. It is Oliveira versus Dark as our grand finals of the KSL number 40, the last one of 2023. Hey, what's up, Poisty? We do have some Matcherino codes, so while we're chilling, check out those Matcherino codes. Pop them in there. Look at that sweet boy. Oh. Cat time. It's free, it doesn't take long, and it all adds up. It really does. The coupon codes are a really nice way to like add just a little bit to the prize pool, and those like extra few dollars here and there, it really adds up for the players. And it helps cover some of those like transfer costs and stuff that just come with money going back and forth internationally all the time. So like adding those extra little bits really, really helps. Appreciate Matcherino doing that. Oh yeah, Bruno, it was so cool. There was something really special about the fact that like everything was closing up, and they thought about kicking us out. I don't know if you heard that, but they wanted to kick the audience out. And I guess I'm assuming the StarCraft production people convinced them not to. Yeah, well, I mean, it was closed. The event was over. We were not supposed to be in there. We were supposed to have left at like 7, and that went to like 8:30, I think. There were every other booth was closed up. They had all their stuff packed up. They were ready to go for the morning. Almost everything was done. There's a couple production things still going on. Zero Space was still going to do their tournament. But like, just guests, attendees, were not supposed to be in there anymore. So, yeah, they were like, you can keep the broadcast going, but the audience shouldn't be there. That being said, I'm assuming they saw that there was, you know, a few hundred of us, and we're like, okay, yeah, you can link. It was really cool to see everything else closed up and still not enough chairs for all the StarCraft people to sit at. We had stolen a bunch of chairs again, too, just like last year. We probably stole 50 chairs from the like Magic the Gathering section. Uptime. We're about 2 hours and 22 minutes into this stream. I believe it says it at the bottom of the stream, like right underneath the video player. Yep. Yeah, it was so sick. I'll give you a cheeky follow. Easy peasy. The uptime command triggers the streamer to read the uptime. It does, because I didn't bother putting an uptime command onto this bot like 2 years ago when I started using the Stream Elements bot, because there's the uptime just listed on the site now. But also I have it very easily accessible, so I can just answer that question. More fun that way. You know, it's better chat interaction. All right. It's grand finals time. Enough chat interaction. I'm not interacting with you nerds anymore, because instead I'm going to interact with the players. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the Red Terran. For Dragon Kitesy Gaming, it is Oliveira, the current reigning world champion. And he's not the only world champion in this finals right now. The current reigning BlizzCon world champion, since there has not been a BlizzCon since then. Hit in the lower right-hand corner, we have Dragon Kitesy's Dark. That's kind of funny, actually. I never really thought about that, but yeah, Dark won the last BlizzCon, the last WCS World Championship. Since then, the World Championships have been at IM Katowice. But Dark is still the reigning BlizzCon champion. Nobody has taken that title from him. So we have both of the reigning world champions, WCS and ESL world champions here, in a match against each other. And I'm definitely going to try to remember to use that for the YouTube title, or at least the YouTube description. I'll make a mental note of that. Speaking of which, if you're watching this on YouTube, consider hitting that subscribe button, subscribing to my YouTube channel, where I post near daily, sometimes even more than once daily, matches of StarCraft. You can get such bangers as Hero versus Dark. Sometimes there's Hero versus Dark. Other times, there'll be Hero versus Dark. And then last week, I posted 2 best of 11 series that were like 2 hours long each, because I like to keep it fresh. If only it was Hero versus Dark. Maybe that's what we should do. If we ever have to just end KSL, we'll just have like one final KSL, but it'll be a Hero versus Dark best of 11. Could do a winner takes all. You don't see tournaments like that very often, do you? Winner takes all. Best of 11 Hero versus Dark. That's some good content right there. Oliveira going to be nice and annoying with this Reaper. Now, we did see Oliveira earlier against DRG playing some very solid Terran. That was pretty straightforward Terran. And it looks like he's going to be doing something very similar here. This is looking like 3CC into Hellions. Probably going to have that Liberator once again, but he's not up against DRG. He is up against Dark. And Dark, I mean, he could play this standard. He could just Queens and Lings to defend, try to deflect and get himself up to 75, 80 workers, 4 bases, quick hive. Dark likes to do that. Or he could do this cool thing called Build the Roach. And Dark does really like to build the Roach. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Namely because Oliveira, in those games against DRG, did not go for Banshees. And I think I'm really interested here if he's going to do it against Dark. Because I think against Dark, you really want to go Banshees. Dark so often just loves to make Roaches that to me, it's scary to go for something like a Liberator, which sure, you can use it defensively if you happen to scout the Roaches. But if that's on the other side of the map, and it's trying to siege up behind a base, and you got Roaches hitting your natural, it is the least helpful thing in the world. It looks like, though, Dark is not going to be going for any Roaches, at least no big early Roach attack. So Oliveira doesn't really have to worry. He can send that Liberator across the map and keep pumping those Hellions. Those Hellions. Hero didn't play today. I know I mentioned him like 8 times just now, and we're very used to seeing those Hero versus Dark finals in the KSL. But Hero decided not to play in this one. I don't know if he's busy. Maybe he's got a date. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Hero, one of the coolest pro gamers out there. Of course, very famously skateboarded to GSL, and then won GSL, and then skateboarded away. And if that's not the coolest thing a gamer can do, I don't know what is. That was pretty slick from Oliveira, though. He friendly fired, hit the rocks, and then friendly fired on the creep tumor. Or not friendly fired, splash damage on the creep tumor. Dark gonna lose a queen to the Liberator, and this is such a classic Dark move. Oh my god, he's gonna lose another one. You gotta be kidding me. Dark, please stop. Dark! Oh no, dude. Okay, finally it goes down. Was that 4 queens? 4 queens to that one Liberator. Dark just not paying attention. Did the Hellions die? The Hellions all died. So that's what he was watching. We weren't watching that. 4 queens just died. And now Dark's going to run across the map with Lings. Granted, the Hellions aren't here anymore, but there's enough Marines behind that wall where, I mean, Lings sitting out here isn't really that scary. Although, this is going to work out really nicely for Dark. Ooh, he's hiding a big group of the Lings. He's trying to wait until these Marines come out, and then he's going to hit. Stim is done, but Combat Shields is not. And those Marines are going to get minced up by the Lings. SCV's trying to leave, but Oliveira's going to have to lift up the wall, and he just lost a bunch of his Marines. This is really nice for Dark. That is totally worth killing, losing those 4 points. As nice as having them alive would be, he's just going to build like a bunch more anyways. So he seems to be just fine back at home. Those Lings killing not only 6 SCVs, delaying the 3rd a little bit, but killing those Marines means that Oliveira can't just move out immediately. We see him just kind of chilling. He's waiting for more Marines. He doesn't feel like he can put that pressure on just yet. Actually gonna boost the empty Medivacs forward to maybe try to threaten Dark and force him to build some units, I guess. I don't know what else these Medivacs could be doing, but maybe trying to draw the Lings into a counterattack into the Marines that have been left at home. I don't know. It's so funny that Dark very consistently does that, though. He just walks his queens into Liberators, and he's like, well, they'll kill it. Just lets them die. But Dark, he's got 6 mutas on the way, and he's going to commit to these mutas. He's +1 coming out. They're pretty quick mutas, all things considered. He's got enough Lings and Banes, I think, to deflect this. Oliveira just pushing through the creep right now. That could give these mutas a chance to move around the top side and start hitting these bases. There are no missile turrets anywhere. Oliveira is so not ready for mutas to come out of Dark. Beautiful draw from that Widowmine shot there as well. I mean, I think Dark's looking fantastic here. This is a fantastic setup for him. He's got enough defense to hold on back at home. That Widowmine didn't even get a kill. And now the Baneling's getting targeted down, but the Marine's forced to lift. At the same time, SCV's getting hit back at home. Oliveira, no, don't stack up. Oliveira, no. Oh my God, the Glaives, they're bouncing. Whew. You do not want to stack up against mutas. That was so scary. Fortunately, not quite enough mutas here from Dark to kill every single one of those. Widowmine gets one on the way out, but that's still 9 SCVs going down just for the first set of mutas. These Widowmines are just coming out of nowhere, though. There are more mutas coming behind this. 10 of them are in the skies right now. But Oliveira already has a Thor on the way. And Big Daddy Thor can be quite good against these smaller counts of mutas. Very interesting choice to get straight into the Thor. I feel like I don't see that often, but I guess since he already had the tech lab to get drilling claws out, might as well pump out a Thor. That being said, this has pulled the pressure completely off of Dark, so he's got a 5th base on the way. He's up to 77 drones. He's got to be feeling pretty good about his situation. Still no Hive, though. And that's a little surprising for Dark. Usually he's very quick into the Hive. There's a nice sensor tower for Oliveira as well. Going to keep an eye on all the units over on this side while he tries to take a 4th base on the left. Lings and mutas thinking about going in. A nice little kill on that Widowmine there. That's a ton of Banelings. 35 Banelings being morphed right now. Dark, he's not going to the Hive. He is spending all of his money on units. He is very far away from these upgrades being done, though, so he's going to be down 2 full upgrades against this bio. Some Widowmines going off. The Banelings rolling in first, getting some decent connections, actually. And the Muta's hitting on the backside as well. There might just be way too much here for Dark. He is cleaning up so much of Oliveira's army, and Oliveira is just forced to tap out. GG. Honestly, the supplies stayed pretty similar for a minute there. I thought maybe I was overselling that it was the end of the game, and then Oliveira tapped out, confirming that, yep, that was too much Zerg, too much Dark. I can't believe after losing 4 queens to the Liberator, that feels like it should be such a huge deal. When you only have like 8 queens out and you just lose half of them right at the start of the game. I didn't see what happened to those Hellions. I kind of assume they ran into a group of Lings and some queens, the other queens that were not there dying to the Liberator. Because I only saw 2 drones die. So I don't think the Hellions really got anything done. And it's something I bring up kind of a lot in TVZ. There's a choice that the Terran has to make at some point, which is, okay, I have 6 Hellions, maybe 8 Hellions. Do I want to sacrifice them, dive in, try to get drone damage, or at least trade for all of the Lings, maybe kill some drones? Or do I just save them? Trade out with a couple of Lings, go in far enough to force the Lings out, you hit them a little bit, you back up, and then hold on to those for the future. The first Oliveira DRG game, he actually saved all his Hellions and used them later on in a push. And for me personally, I think that's the better choice. I think diving in with the Hellions is almost always the wrong choice for the Terran. We saw our Terran, who's now spawning in the lower right-hand corner. Oliveira doing that in the last game. He dove in with those Hellions, and every single one of them died for basically nothing. And I feel like that's what happens a lot of times. I don't think it's worth it even to kill some drones. Unless you end up getting like 15 or 18 drones, I don't think it's worth it to dive in. But we'll see if Game 2 brings us anything different. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Hard Lead, it is Dragon Kite's Dark. Is that pool first? Ooh, spooky. Kind of a later pool first. This isn't like a cheeky, super early pool trying to get in there. This is a slightly later pool. It makes me wonder if this is going to be more committed out of Dark. Interesting. But yeah, these guys are both teammates. I don't know how often they practice against each other. I mean, I imagine they hit each other quite often if they play on ladder. I wouldn't be too surprised if they practice against each other, but I don't know how often Oliveira practices with a lot of the Koreans. I genuinely don't know. Well, I'll be very interested to see what happens in this game. I really do think holding on to those Hellions, there's very few scenarios where I think it's worth it to dive the Hellions in. And we kind of saw in that last game the detriment to losing all those Hellions, which is that if the Lings want to counterattack and you don't have enough Marines out yet, you kind of have to stay at home. I mean, Dark played that perfectly. He really baited Oliveira out with his Marines, and it delayed Oliveira's next push, and all that damage that was done earlier on was completely negated very quickly by Dark. Early pool is going to get these 2 Lings out and these 4 Lings out, and they're going to do the important job of holding the watchtower. Do the Chinese players prefer the Korean or Singapore server? I believe the Korean server. I think in general, the Chinese players play on the Korean server. I'm not like 100%, but I think that's generally true. The thing about it is, I mean, I don't know. The ping might be slightly better for some of them on the Korean server, but it also depends on like how things route. So like internet routing can make things really weird. Link's trying to sneak in. Not gonna be able to get there. I know there's, so like Australia is much closer to Korea than it is to like the mainland US, right? But something to do with the undersea cables. I remember people in Australia had more ping or like the same amount of ping to Korea as they did to US West, which is like, that shouldn't happen. There should be less ping to Korea. But the longer the cables are to get there, the more ping there's going to be. So, I don't know. Also, the Chinese players aren't going to ladder on Singapore because then you're laddering on the NA server. And why would you do such a silly thing like ladder on the NA server? NA players don't even ladder on the NA server. Anyways, Oliveira's going for a Hellbat push. This is 2 base, straight up. I don't know if I would call this an all-in, but he's pretty committed with it. He does not have a ton going on behind it. He's just on 1-1-1 production. He's going to go for Cloak Banshees with this, too. That Armory's about to finish, and Dark is about to see. These Hellions morph into Hellbats. He's got 9 Roaches on the way, though, because he's Dark. So these Hellbats are about to just run into freshly popped Roaches. This is like the worst nightmare for Oliveira. I actually wouldn't hate to see them morph them back into Hellions, yeah, and just try to get out of here. Dark will pick off a couple on the retreat. Oh, that medevac. It does get out of there. But, I mean, there's no better way to hold a big Hellbat attack than just by having the Roaches pop right as those Hellbats get to your base. Dark's going to counterattack. Yeah, there's actually nothing here. This is a bit of a problem right now for Oliveira. The Banshee got supply blocked a little bit, so it's not out yet. It's just about to finish. There are some Raptors being morphed, though. Dark, he's committing to this a little bit. He does have a bunch of drones popping behind it, but he's going to try to break through here and at least take down this CC. I think he's going to be able to stop it from coming up, and that is terrible news for Oliveira, who's going to be forced to cancel that base. I think Dark's just happy with that. Like, I think if you're Dark here, you just leave. Well, if he saw that went down, he would have gone right back in to force another cancel. But yeah, this is fantastic for Dark, delaying that third by nearly an entire command center worth of wait time. And now Oliveira has all these Hellbats that are just completely useless. If he had realized those Roaches were coming before swapping the factory, he might have built a couple of Cyclones back at home, but is a much better position for Dark to be in. He's got his lair about halfway done. No 4th base on the way just yet, but I guess delaying that 3rd means he doesn't have to worry about it too much. Puts it down now. Oliveira puts down a 5th base as well, feeling like he needs to do something. The Banshees are going to come in. Not going to be able to get too much done here. Spore Crawlers are all around. The Queens are in position. Dark is ready for this. A few drones will fall, but at the expense of 1 Banshee already. Ooh, little Hellion drop, though. This is really nice for Oliveira. This is not something I think Dark would be expecting. Well, that Spore Crawler might kill this medevac. It's going to bring the dead drone count up pretty high. Oh, man. Kills the medevac with the Hellion still in it. Bit of miss micro there from Oliveira. Didn't need to lose that. Still, though, gets a handful of workers with those Hellions, which were honestly not going to be all that helpful anywhere else. He's got his 3rd base set up back at home. I don't hate Oliveira's position here. I really thought I was going to. Off the back of that Hellbat attack just getting bopped and the counterattack delaying that 3rd for so long. But I think Dark was pretty committed with those early Roaches. His lair is very late. His 1-1 started up quite late. And now, I mean, the army supply is in favor of Oliveira. That can obviously change very quickly for the Zerg. But I don't hate Oliveira's position. Dark is trying to jump ahead in tech. He's got the Infestation Pit down, so the Hive is started up. But Oliveira's got his 4th base already on location. Dark is going to be able to spot that with this Overlord as it dies. So now Dark is realizing, like, hey, his economy's not that far behind mine. I might need to do something. He's trying to take the 5th base, but that's pretty far away from being up. And Oliveira is catching up in workers. He's got a lot of Marines and Marauders coming out, as well as a few siege tanks. I like Oliveira's position here, but Dark is coming in for the attack. Oliveira needs to realize that he needs to bring all of these units back home. Oh my god, these units need to come down here right now. Oliveira, there's so many bio units. Okay, all right, Dark backs up. God, that was so scary. I thought for sure he was just going to lose everything here before the rest of the army came back, but he's good. He's cruising. He's in position. Dark not committing with the attack, just poking and prodding. But this is the power of Dark going for quick hives. Considering how late his lair was, the fact that there's already Vipers on the way is kind of crazy. But those Vipers can be huge. There's no ghosts out yet for Oliveira. And these tanks are very susceptible, obviously, to being yoinked. But also, in this position right here, imagine like 3 Blinding Clouds. And this Bioforce would have such a difficult time fighting against the Roaches and Ravagers of Dark. So I think Dark is just trying to tech to a higher, get to a higher level of tech than his opponent's fully ready for. I mean, I think he's doing a great job of it. He's getting into Banelings as well. Oliver is deciding to push out as he's hitting his supply cap right now. Oh, but he's going to get caught a little bit pants down. Goes for a big stim. Doesn't siege those tanks up, though. Recognizing that he might not have to. Banelings are starting to come in. The Marauders splitting backwards. The tanks siege up, but they are all in Bile range. And most of them will fall. This one stays alive just barely. A lot of the bio stays up, too. Oliveira continues to push. Gonna go for a big lift up, gonna go for a big drop in the main. It looks like wants to try to pull Dark out of position. Nope, never mind, just drops right on the creep. Gonna start clearing this creep towards the middle. These Vipers gotta be a little bit careful. Parasitic Bomb goes down, but there's enough Marines here to make those Vipers a little scared. Oliveira decides to pick up and leave, but he's gotta be really careful with these Parasitic Bombed Medivacs. Looks like he will get out of there and back to some reinforcements. Oliver wants to keep pushing. Dark continuing to build Lings. The Ravagers, again, trying to take down these tanks. It looks like they will take the tanks down, as well as one of those Medivacs. Oliver going to pull back. He does have Ghosts coming out now, and those Ghosts are going to be very important, not just against the Vipers, EMPs, and Snipes, but he can also snipe down these Ravagers. The Ravager count is getting kind of out of control. They're very expensive. So if he's able to snipe down 4 or 5 of those, it can make life a lot harder for Dark. Oliveira deciding to go for a couple of drops here on the right and on the left. Trying to clear some creep, maybe get some kills on drones if he can. Liberator pass through the middle of the map and is going to just get sent packing. This one gets a few drones. That's 6 drones going down. Now this base is getting hit. Oliveira doing a fantastic job right now, pulling Dark out of position. He's going to get a kill on a base. Kill 9, 10, 11 drones. What is happening over here? 11 drones going down. As well as clearing a lot of the creep over on this left-hand side of the map. Dark has put some new creep tumors down. But I feel like Oliveira is just doing a great job. Splits the Medivacs against the Parasitic Bombs. He is going to keep that pressure on. I don't know if you saw recently, but we learned that the way the Ravager bile works is it goes up so high. I think it's like 40 cliff units high or whatever. Or, yeah, like 40 levels high. And then disappears, and then a new one spawns in the other location where it's supposed to come down. Kind of love it. A little bit of back and forth here. Bile's taking down some of those Widow Mines. Both players nearing max once again. As Dark wants to push in. Needs to be careful. Ooh, we got some EMPs on those Vipers. Not quite. Dark behind this is getting into a Spire. I believe that's Chitinous finishing up, so he could get into Ultras as well. But a lot of Marines and Marauders And Ghosts here as well, holding the top of that ramp. I love the parasitic bombs on the medevacs. This is something I've noticed a lot lately is Zerg players using that energy on parasitic bombs. They kind of just poke in, parasitic bomb, and leave. And we see the medevac count is dwindled. 7 of them have gone down this game. There's only 4 on the field. It's going to force Oliveira to build more and more of those. I'd love to see him drop a second starport. Just in case that keeps happening. If you can build 4 at a time, you're kind of Gucci. And, man, you say that the words, and Oliveira, he gives it to you. And I appreciate that about him. Wouldn't mind getting some okay shots off, but just little bits of trades here and there. The trades have actually been very, very close this game. But I feel like the mining has also been very close this game. Pretty back and forth. Banelings come in once again. Widow Mines go off once again. Just explosions absolutely everywhere. Oh, some snipes, though, and that is 2 dead Vipers. That is a great catch for Oliveira, who might have been distracting Dark a little bit with this drop on the top side. Gets some snipes, kills a bunch of Lings that path the wrong way as well. And Oliveira, his 5th base is fully set up. Mining, ready to go. That being said, Dark is trying to get a 7th base up here. Oliveira might need to do something about that soon. He is pushing on this side, clearing some of that creep once again. There's the cancel on the base. Lings coming into this base. There is not much here to defend them, although the tank buying enough time to get this bio back home. Let's push those Lings away. Do not know what these drones are doing, but these Lings are getting into 4 dropper lords on the right-hand side. I love when Dark does this. Ooh, and he's got some fungals here. Dark's getting all the tools going. Yeah, I don't know what the hell these drones are doing. They're going to go back to mining now. Oh, I guess they ran away from the Liberators. Whew, these Liberators doing a pretty good job before they get taken out. There's nothing in this base to defend. This is a good amount of Lings. What is that? 32 Zerglings dropping out of the dropper lords right now. Oliveira going to try to defend with some of these fresh Ghosts. And it looks like there's enough bio nearby to come back up here, but it's going to be a lot of stuff on fire right away. I don't know if we have Burrow available for Dark. He does like to do that in the main bases. Big Widow Mine shot here. We'll push him away. Yeah, it looks like no Burrow, at least he chose not to burrow in the main base. Dark loves to burrow Lings kind of all around and either pop them out and just draw attention for his opponent, but also use them to drop Nidus Worms in his opponent's base later on in the game. Would love to see Dark go for some of those. Oliveira, though, successfully stopping this base from coming up and keeping his opponent on now the same number of bases that he is on, and that's not ideal for Dark, who has traded pretty significantly worse at this point. That's another big Widow Mine hit there on Lings and Banes. Ooh, beautiful pop-up, though. The Fungal going to trap these Ghosts, and every single one of them will die. It's a nice pop-up there from Dark. He loves to do that as well as another tactic that I saw Dark do first, and I feel like I've seen a lot of other Zerg players picking it up, which is those Infestors just hanging out around on the map. We see another Fungal going down here. If he can hit some key Fungals, all it takes is 1 or 2, and those Banelings can start getting on top of stuff. However, Oliveira now has 6 Liberators in the sky. That's going to force 8 Corruptors to come out. Dark, not ready for it just yet, is going to have to pull back against this force, and that's going to allow Oliveira to take a base. Oliveira continues to push forward, though, as some Biles rain down on the Liberators. The Corruptors have come out, but now we have Infestors just running into their death. Lings and Bane's going to dive forward. The Corruptor's going to be able to take care of these Liberators. Can the Liberators get enough done on the ground to keep Oliveira in this fight? Not quite. The Corruptors will push all of this away. In the meantime, Ultras on a counterattack, not going to be able to chew through this Planetary. They will get most of the SCVs here. 15 SCVs going down, but that is a very much alive Planetary. Oliveira can absolutely build some more SCVs, send them over here, drop some mules. He's got plenty of mule energy around this map. And I feel like Oliveira did better there in that attack than Dark did. Oliveira still has all of his bases alive. Losing some SCVs is painful, but Dark is long distance mining from this base right now because he's essentially on 2 mining bases, like 2.5 otherwise. His mining is pretty abysmal right now. I think he's got 78 drones, but I feel like this graph is kind of lying to us. Oliveira decides to go right back in again, forces a cancel on this base, just trying to cut off Dark's income as much as he possibly can. Another Viper going down. Dark seems to be struggling to deal with this right now. He's dropped down to 100 army supply. Still has some tools at his disposal, and he's going to dive in. Lands a big fungal, but those Widow Mines going off. I don't know if that was... Those Widow Mines were better for Dark or for Oliveira, but it looks like either way, Oliveira is going to close out game number 2 and tie us up 1-1 in this grand finals. Sick game there from Oliveira, man. He did not stop with the pressure at all. Deflected a lot of Dark's attacks, counterattacks. Just kept taking good trades, kept the pressure on. Pulled Dark out of position a couple of different times. There were some key moments in that game. Dark losing his 5th base in the upper right corner of the map, I think, was a crucial moment. But also that initial Roach Ravager counterattack felt like it was going to be, like, arguably game-ending, right? And then it, like, kills the 3rd, forces a cancel on that 3rd base that's building. Delays Oliveira's 3rd by so much. But I think Dark was further behind than I thought. His lair was so late. I think his drone count was pretty low. His 1-1 was nowhere to be seen. And I feel like as the game got into mid-game, Oliveira was actually in a totally fine position and then leveraged that into an advantage over the course of the game, just really not stopping that pressure. Now we're getting into Alcyone for game 3. We'll join our players in here as we spawn in the upper right-hand corner with our Terran player. It is Dragon Kites's Oliveira. He's the player to come from the Kitesy side of that merger. His opponent came from the Dragon Phoenix side of the merger. It is Dark. Dark looking very strong in Atlanta. You know, I think maybe 6 months ago, if you asked me if Dark was going to be finalist in a DreamHack this year, I'm not sure I would have thought he was. He, you know, obviously looked quite good, and he had some solid results. But I didn't feel like earlier this year he looked like the Dark I'm used to seeing. But I gotta say, I think that's changed. I feel like the Dark we're used to seeing is here again. He wasn't quite able to take down Clem in the finals, but turns out nobody could take down Clem. Even the GOAT himself struggled against Clem. I was worried, though. The finals of DreamHack Atlanta, just having the, like, the younger, you know, European hope that people really wanted to see win and, like, was definitely good enough to win but hadn't won a big event yet. And this was, like, this was his chance. And he beat Cyril in the semis. And we're like, oh, man, he's going to do it. And he goes up against Dark. I was getting deja vu to the 2019 BlizzCon when all of those exact same things happened with Raynor. And then Dark just bopped him in the finals because he's Dark and that's what he does. And I was like, oh, no, dude. We got another storyline for Dark to end. Dark, the professional storyline ender, coming in here. I was so worried that he was just going to, like, Roach Ravager Clem, and Clem was not going to be ready for it. Very thankful that did not happen. And Oliveira, again, being cheeky and annoying with this Reaper. Keep an eye on the third CC situation here for Oliveira, but yeah, that SCV was looking mighty suspicious. And down it goes. We did see Oliveira do like a little cyclone pressure in one of those games against DRG. Did not work particularly well. But keep an eye out for any interesting builds Oliveira might be thinking of. He's certainly not averse to trying different tactics, although it looks like he's, again, just going to be going for a nice Hellion opener here. I guess we did see him go for a Hellbat attack, like a 2-base Hellbat push last game, so he does keep it fresh. Dark, on the other hand, he changes it up pretty much every single game. I don't usually expect to see 2 of the same builds from Dark in a series. He's not your standard average macro every game player. That's what keeps it exciting. No Roach Horn yet, though. Dark is still just chilling. Maybe this is a macro game out of Dark. Maybe this is your standard, average, everyday macro game. He's going to see this Liberator out, see all these Hellions. He should be able to be ready for this. Spore Crawlers going down. Kind of hoping Oliveira doesn't dive the Hellions in this time. You know, again, that game 1, I feel like that was a big turning point for him. Losing all the Hellions, the counterattack with the Lings, just doing so much damage. I'd love to see him do, yeah, just this kind of stuff. Maybe trade with the Lings if they come out a little bit too far. Ooh, Dark wants to take this base, but Oliveira is going to stop that base. No, he's going to run by. Oh, he's doing it. Where are the Lings? There are a handful of Lings here. Only 3 drones going down so far. Is it the right choice this time? The Liberator unsieges these Hellions, a little bit trapped. But wait a second. The drones! The drones! Whoa, he is going to get 8 of them. I don't think that was worth it. I don't think that was worth it. Again, I don't know that I love that from Dark. I think the Liberator might have gone down as well. Yeah, the Liberator died. All the Hellions died. And Dark's going to run across the map with these Lings. I think Oliveira has enough to deflect this, because there's not that many Lings out. Yeah, it's just 13. So Oliveira should be fine here, but he is going to take a little bit of damage. Loses that depot, loses the SCV. I just don't like that the Terran doesn't have the Hellions anymore, because now this creep spread is completely uncontested. With no Banshees behind this either, there's nothing Oliveira can do about these creep tumors. He's going to get, Dark's going to get 2 full rounds of creep tumors in before the Marines are able to get here. Maybe even 3. That being said, this game's going to be very different from game 1. Oliveira will have all of his Marines ready to go, which means he can move out a lot earlier and start putting that pressure on with the actual good fighting units. But there are 8 roaches on the way for Dark already. He still has those Lings out if he needs to buy a little bit of time, as well as the Queens. But he's got all those roaches ready to go. He's got so many roaches coming out. Goddamn. 15 roaches out on the field. And I don't think Oliveira is expecting there to be 15 roaches at the top of this ramp right now. And he is going to scan and see that and immediately pick up the leave. Ooh, I kind of like this move, though. Instead of picking up the leave, he's going to pick up and at least threaten the drop in the main base. And that's going to delay Dark by quite a bit. In the meantime, yeah, there's like 9 Marines at a time coming out back and home. Also buys enough time for Oliveira to get 1-1 to finish up. So now he's ahead a little bit. Dark is just building roaches, though. He has 66 drones. Roaches, dude. He's Roachman. Roachman. Make another roaches. wants to walk across and kill the man. Marine man doesn't have enough man to send all of the roaches pack their bags. Good old roach man. And he's coming in. He's going to start knocking down these depots. SCV's coming off the line. There's the big stim from the Marines. Is it enough here for Oliveira to knock Dark back? Oh my God. Like 20 more roaches just show up out of nowhere, and Dark, he's looking quite strong here. Oliveira was just not expecting this, wasn't ready with any tanks. One tank is here, ready to go to defend this base. Woodermine's getting some nice shots, but 20 SCVs have already died, and Dark, I mean, he could just drone up his 4th base behind it. He is going to start doing that now. He can start teching a little bit if he wants to. His 1-1 is done. He can start up, yep, +2 Carapace. There he goes. He's kind of done it already. Like, he's done the damage. He's killed the SCVs. He killed a handful of Marines. He's going to keep pushing his back. He's going to try to bile down these Liberators, actually whiffing some of the biles. But he will get both of the Liberators. Pull back. He can kill these depots. Supply block Oliveira. I mean, this is fantastic damage. And Oliveira is, he wants to take more bases. I think this is a great choice. Dark could try to send some cheeky lings over here, but I don't think he's thinking about this. Bile stake down the tanks. Dark, man, he is not the kind of guy to chill, and he is not chilling. He's going for it. He's like, there's only one tank left. I'm going to bile it down, and then I'm just going to trade with Marines over and over and over again. And Oliveira, he's at 100 supply, trying desperately to get some more units out. Dark, he's just about maxed. 18 more roaches on the way, and he is just going to keep on killing stuff. Biling down another tank. This one is way up on the ramp. Doesn't even cover the whole natural entrance. That +1 is going to get denied by the bile. 9 more SCVs going down. Oliveira is doing his best here, man. He is muling the crap out of this base as much as he possibly can. But Dark, he's busted through. He's going to send just a few units over here and kill some of these fresh mules. Oliveira goes for a massive lift up to get over there, but that's going to leave his natural exposed. No, Oliveira, no. Oh, and I think that's just it. Yep. There's the tap out, the GG Dark. He's the Roach Man. What a banger. What a game. I'm glad Ragnarok hit. At least one person got my Smash Mouth, Astro Lounge, Roadman reference. In the year of our Lord 2023. It's almost 2024. And I will still be singing that song. And you know what? Now that 2023 is ending, I can take this moment to make sure everybody knows. Everybody who's about my age. Probably most of you, because we're all not young. Well, not all of us. Most of us. That 2023 is as far away from the song 1985 as 1985 was when that song came out. And that song is about somebody stuck in the past. So if you like that song, I like that song. I think it's by Bowling for Soup. I think I know all the words to that song. I've sang it at karaoke. If you like that song, you are now the old person that song is about. And soon, you'll be even older. Welcome to life. And also, welcome to Game 4. We are here on Solaris, and spawning in the upper right-hand corner, we have Dragon Kite's Oliveira. And his opponent in the lower left, it is Dark. Hold on, we got a scalding hot take from Ragnarok. If All-Star wasn't a giant meme because of Shrek, Astro Lounge would be Deep Cut's incredible album. I'm so with you, Ragnarok. Astro Lounge, full of bangers. All-Star, you're right. It wouldn't even be one of the notable songs I mean, I feel like it would still be a good jam. We'd still have like, it would still be a good party jam, all-star. But man, there's so many good songs on that album. It's so good. It's actually like, that is an album I will genuinely listen through front to back. And there's really not that many albums I do that with. But yes, if anybody wants to get that reference to the Roachman, look up the song Roadman by Smash Mouth. It's a banger. It's a good one. That whole album is full of them. Yeah, who knew we were going to start talking about Smash Mouth in this broadcast? I actually sing the song Radio all the time too. I have a friend who does like music production, and I don't know him as Radio, but I guess that's what like a lot of people know him as. So now whenever I see him and I think that people call him Radio, I sing the song Radio by Smash Mouth. So good. Yeah, I need to listen to that. I have it on CD. I should put it in my 5-disc CD changer. Because, like all cool people, I have a CD player that holds 5 discs. It's sitting on my shelf right next to my record player. You know, you got to keep all the vintage stuff together. Man, I'm glad we're touching on all the important stuff in this cast. I mean, there's really nothing happening in this game, so we've done a good job. This is professional level filling time. Talking about Smash Mouth. That was one of the first CDs I ever got, actually, was Astro Lounge. Maybe that's why I like it so much, but I also just think it's kind of good. I could be slightly biased, though. I remember listening to that song in my, like, boombox that I had back in the day. Any of you kids watching this, you won't get it. You won't understand what it was like to get one of those cool-ass CD players that you put 4 D batteries in and you could take it with you. It was portable, dude. It was portable. If you didn't want to, you know, just have your Discman with you. What the hell is happening in this game? Why is Oliver's door still open? All right, he's closed it. 9 SCVs went down. There's still more lings coming across the map. Dark just... How... He's just like, oh, if I build lings right now, I'll just win this game. 11 SCVs going down. Oliver finally pushes it away with Hellions and Banshees. There's actually insane amounts of damage. And granted, Dark was late to droning because of that, right? Instead of all those drones he would have made, he made lings. But, I mean, he still got huge damage done. And now, Oliver can't leave. He's got to keep these Hellions here. There's still lings out on the map. The moment he leaves, this Overlord is going to spot it. And those lings are going to run right in. Actually, you know what my first CDs might have been? Here we go. I'm going to hit you guys with something. I think one of my very first CDs was Now That's What I Call Music. Specifically, I'm pretty sure I got Volume 2. I'll have to look up when that came out. But that's... what a classic. What a classic. They just don't make stuff like that anymore. You know, it's just not the same. Get your Spotify playlist. But now that's what I call music, Spotify playlist. Oh, man. Oh, that was for sure the first exposure to gorillas. 100%. No! No, Oliveira, no! Why? The door. There wasn't even a door. The hinges weren't on yet. Oh, not the friendly fire. No, no. Those poor SCVs, they trusted the siege tank. The tank's like, I killed all lings, sir. Those poor SCVs, dude. 7 more going down to that run by. I mean, the trades have been dead even, but this feels so much better for Dark. It's 70 to 44 workers. Dark is chilling. I will say his lair is extraordinarily late. We're 7 minutes into this game. But his 1-1 is not that far behind Oliveira's. And I think he also killed like a handful of Marines, handful of those Hellions. So there's just not as much here for Oliveira as it feels like there should be. And I feel like Dark is just really taking control of this game. He's got 3 hatcheries building at once as he is double expanding the 4th and the 5th and taking his macro hatch. His Baneling Nest is finishing up. His 1-1 is finishing up. The lair. He's getting everything going. Even his creep spread is starting to look real mean in the center of this map. It's not really that great anywhere else, but he's got a ton of tumors around. And Oliveira, I mean, he's starting to gather an army. He's got a little drop down here. He's got some siege tanks out. There's a lot of siege tanks when you're playing against somebody going Lingbane. Lingbane Hydra. I feel like Oliveira might have been anticipating roaches again. It's such a common thing for Dark to do, and Dark just not giving it to him. Having these Hellions still alive is nice for Oliveira. It looks like he's going to go for a big old push here. Bringing just about everything with him. He's going to try to push from the bottom side and work his way up towards this 4th. Lings and Banes trying to figure out what this army is. I think he might have realized as Dark's coming down this way now. A few Lings just running into the Hellions willy-nilly. Lings going for a counterattack. There is a siege tank back at home, but 1 tank against Lings is just not the way, and it's going to be a bunch more dead SCVs. This series started out so well for Oliveira, but I feel like Dark is taking control now. And because he double expanded, he's just going to let the base die. He killed 10 SCVs. Lings and Banes coming back in and splash damaging all over those Marines. So a bunch of the reinforcements going down as well. And Oliveira, he kills a base for it. The drones just moved to the top side. Dark is still mining very, very nicely here. And he's just biding his time, waiting until he can take a sick engagement. The Queen's going first to tank with shots from the tank. And then that's just going to be it. He's going to push this away. This push is basically done. Oliveira just going to try to drop in, get some kills. He does supply block Dark, which is kind of annoying. Snipes down the Banelings. Really nice sniping there out of Oliveira. Should be able to pick up an escape. Dark has not quite run away with this yet. The army supplies are still very similar. Oliveira's got a 4th base on the way. He did kill the base. I don't want to say that's nothing because it is absolutely something. He's stopping it from being retaken as well. Dark is not able to get a drone down there just yet. However, with Hydras on the way, it's going to make Dark's army a little bit more formidable. There's so many queens here. Like 10 or 11 queens. Crazy. Oliveira, though, not keeping that pressure on him. I feel like that tells me that Oliveira is a little bit scared. Maybe of the counterattacks, maybe of just losing stuff out on the map. But in the previous TVZs, he has been non-stop aggression, just keeping that pressure on over and over and over again. But it seems like every time he tries to do that in this game, he's getting hit with a counterattack. He's forced to lift up into his medevacs, just not getting the damage done. Gonna go clear all this creep now. And Oliveira will be able to take a 4th. Dark's 5th is not yet done. This should put Oliveira in a pretty decent position. lift up and keep on clearing that creep. Again, there's like a million tumors here, but Marines make such short work of those that he is doing a great job keeping this creep back on kind of the bottom half of the map. Hydra's here making this a little bit more dangerous for the medevacs, though. And Dark, in the meantime, despite having a very late lair in this game, got his hive immediately afterwards, as he likes to do. He's straight into the Vipers. Viper's kind of an interesting choice here. I'm guessing he wants to parasitic bomb the medevacs again. It seemed to work pretty well for him in one of the previous games. There's not really much else the Vipers can do in this scenario. A lot of Widow Mines going off, man, all over the place on this army, but this is going to be another force lift up, and actually a couple medevacs going to go down here, it looks like. They'll boost away. Dark clearing out the rocks in the middle of the map. He wants to keep this map as open as possible for his Lings and Banes to run through. And Queens will finish that guy off. Dark has re-secured this base to the bottom side. He's now up to 6 bases, 80 drones. But Oliveira's economy is firing up quite nicely. It should be relatively even in terms of the mining for a little while. Oliveira finally getting that pressure going again in multiple locations. Gonna try to hit on the bottom, hit on the top side, but Dark, I mean, Dark is pretty much maxed. He's got enough to deal with this on both fronts. It's just about making sure the micro is there for both players. Lynx coming in, getting kind of minced up by the Marines. That ends up being really nice for Oliveira. Just killing Lynx for free. Always a nice thing. Dark doesn't seem like he wants to put too much pressure on the other side of the map. Ooh, there's those parasitic bombs. Killing a couple of the medevacs. Most of the Marines and Marauders going down. But now that Oliveira is kind of expanding forward, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dark putting a little bit more pressure on, trying to keep him back on just those 4 bases. And he sees the rest of the army showing up, and Dark's going to group everything together. Even got the Queens here for this one. Looks like we might have an engagement. Oh, not quite. Dark deciding to pull back instead. It's so back and forth. Dark does not want to commit off creep. He's waiting for Oliveira to come to him a little bit. But now he's just going to go for kind of a counterattack on the top side, sending a lot of the Lings in. That's going to be a lot more dead SCVs. Oh, even getting a lot of those supply depots. Yeah, just 5 more dead SCVs. Oliveira pushing away the rest of the army. These Lings are doing a lot of damage over here, but they'll get cleaned up, taken care of. Surprised we haven't seen that burrow play from Dark. He likes to just send a few Lings in, burrow them down. At the very least, it forces some scans before they die. Dark has not stopped his base from becoming a planetary. It looks like he's thinking about going in on it. He's got 24 Banelings morphing. Stopping Oliveira from mining at this base would be pretty big. And yeah, he's going to try to get on top of it. Banelings rolling through. SCVs repairing up until they die. They're there to the last. And that's going to be the W out of Oliveira. He just taps out, recognizing that he's not going to be able to keep up with that army of Dark. And Dark, despite starting off, I believe it was, yeah, started off 1-1. Dark won the first game, but Oliveira felt like he was starting to pull it back. Dark says no. He says, no, I'm going to shut it down. Says the BlizzCon World Champion is going to beat the Katowice World Champion once again. And Dark wins the final KSL of 2023. GG's. GG's. Dark is like, oh my God. Hero's not here. Hey, what's up, Mas? Now, That's What I Call Music Volume 2 came out in 1999. Yeah, that might have been my first CD, because I'm trying to think of like some of the other CDs. That I remember getting when I was younger, and like I think Astro Lounge was '01. Pretty sure I got Californication too. It was about the same time. I had Millennium by the Backstreet Boys. It was, I'm sure, in 2000, of course. But 1999, that might have been my very first like CD that was mine. Was Now That's What I Call Music. Specifically Volume 2. I don't remember why. I think my friend had Volume 1 and we would like share. All right. I'm going to make sure Coffee gets invited to the Matcherino. And yeah, we're going to call it there. Well, guys, Happy New Year. Been a pleasure. I think we've had a really good 2023. I hope you guys have had a good year. I'm really happy with the KSL. It's one of my, I mean, it really is my pride and joy. I haven't streamed a ton this year, but I feel like I've been pretty consistent over the last 8 months or so here for KSL. A lot of the EPT Cups, covering some other stuff in between, and really been enjoying just focusing on casting like a few times a week. You know, I don't know what 2024 is going to bring, but I'm hoping to keep the KSL going, maybe get some Stormgate tournaments happening once that becomes a thing. I would really love to be involved in the tournament scene for that as well. Yeah, looking forward to it. Hope to see you guys there. And yeah, stay cocky, my friends. I will see you all next week for KSL number 41 of 2024. You guys be good.